you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up. Pull up, bitch. I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up.
Objection. Objection.
I will fuck you up. KO. Bang bang. I will fuck you up. You're a bitch, bro. I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up. Right?
Yeah.
The bang bang, the bang bang, pull up. The bang bang, the bang bang, pull up. Right?
Yeah.
The bang bang, the bang bang, pull up. The bang bang, the bang bang.
Witness, please.
Yes, Your Honor, the Commonwealth to call Trooper Michael Proctor to the stand. Please state your name and spell your last name for the jury.
Michael Proctor, Proctor.
You're a bitch, bro. I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up.
I'm going to allow it.
I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up.
I'm going to allow it.
Welcome to the Weekend Live Show.
508 is where I'm from.
We run down the biggest stories of the week with you every Saturday night. Let us know in the comments right now where you reppin'.
Apache Junction, Taunton, Worcester, Long Island, Manchog, South Florida, Webster, Malden, Framingham, Tucson, Billerica, Salem, Gloucester, Moosop, Connecticut, Charleston, South Carolina, Roslindale, Moosop, Connecticut, London, Hanson, Glendale, Arizona, Lynn, Mapleville, Quincy.
Food stands, leave your clothes, buddy, and them with
you a funny ass guy, man.
Have you ever heard of Dono? Like, yeah? Are you a fan?
508 is where I'm from.
Hey, what's up?
508 is where I'm from.
How was that?
You a freaking idiot. Stop telling people that I'm mentally deranged and stupid.
Call me Aidan. I'm not a doctor, but...
Get out of my store, please.
You're a fucking loser.
You are a loser.
You're not a journalist. You're nobody.
You're not turtle hair. Don't make such fun of the criminal justice system.
NFL on the house, blog that.
Let's get this party started.
And I will not be intimidated. I will not be silenced. And we will continue on our journey for justice for John O'Keefe and for Karen Reed.
Tick, tick, boom. Boys, go baby, we bringing out toys. Boys, chopper be singing, should be on the voice. Bang, bang, we gon' ride out. Gang, gang, we don't die out. Want it like this, ain't no timeouts. Tell me who really gon' find out.
We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets.
Karen Reed has supporters who've shown up in large numbers.
Tick, tick, boom.
Hard body, and not scaring nobody. You make me resort to wildin'. You must be blind by the diamonds. I didn't want it to be this way, but y'all won't need to try this, so it's no way around it. You the loudest one, it's going quiet. We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep.
This is the first time I think I've ever seen this. An outpouring of support for someone accused of murdering a Boston police officer. Unbelievable situation. Never seen anything like it.
tick, tick, boom.
You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me?
We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep. It's go, 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 go time.
Tick, tick, boom.
Boom. What's up, turtle people? How's everyone out there doing tonight? Good? Good? Excellent. Welcome to the live show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your fearless host. My name is Aidan Kearney. On Facebook, you may better know me, and you can follow me as Clarence Woods Emerson. It's kind of my nom de plume. Old school turtle riders call me Uncle Turtle Boy. I prefer doctor because it's cool to be called doctor, and if Jill Biden gets to be a doctor, then so do I. So there's that. Some people call me daddy. You know, I'll allow it. I'm not going to say no to that one. I'm definitely not going to make you call me daddy, but if you want to, I'm not going to say no. It is what it is. I don't care what you call me. Just be here every Tuesday and Saturday night like you've been for the longest time at 9 o'clock. And make sure you smash that subscribe button because we're about to get, I think we're at like 83.5 or something like that for subscribers now. We're closing in on 100 every day. I just passed 85,000 followers on Twitter. Remember my Twitter account, follow that one too, is at Dr. Turtleboy, DOCTOR Turtleboy. Let me try to get rid of this background. Hold on. That shadow is going to annoy the fuck out of me. I got to get rid of that. Hold on. Without other shit disappearing. Okay, that's a nice balance. Okay, cool. Less annoying. All right, cool. So yeah, man, follow me on all the platforms. Get at it. Again, if you're new here, welcome aboard the Turtle. We've been covering the Karen Reed case since day one. I know that the Karen Reed case is trendy now. Everybody in the world's talking about it, but there would be no Karen Reed phenomenon were not for your little, your favorite Worcester blogger here, Turtle Boy, if you will, award-winning journalist. So again, if you're new here, go back and start from the beginning, watch the frame video. I've been covering this story ever since April 18th at 3:30 a.m. when I hit the publish button on part 1 of the Canton cover-up series. And then I started doing streams about it. I existed long before the Karen Reed story. I did. I had I broke tons of stories before this. It was more localized, and now I have like an international audience, which is cool. I'm going to have to keep that going when this is over. But yeah, if you're new, I've been doing this for quite some time, so feel free to read some of my older stuff too, because this is the biggest story I've ever done, but it's not the first. And it's not like the most, there's a lot of corruption going on, not just in this case, but everywhere. So anyway, guys, so yeah, there's that. And this is the last Saturday show we're going to be doing probably where I'm going to have to wear free Karen Reed because she's going to be free by next Saturday. It's done. It's over. This whole thing is ending, man. It's ending. It's what a journey it's been. It's not really ending because it's just, we got a lot of shit. Like she's going to be acquitted. It's going to happen. First of all, I want to make it clear to the haters out right there. Now listen up. Listen, I just want to make it very clear to all you people out there. So please listen very carefully to the people who are anti-Karen Reed, because you're going to need to hear this because you're in echo chambers and you're not hearing this. Sometime this week, I don't know when, I don't know what time, but sometime this week, the jury is going to come back and they are going to say 2 words that you weren't expecting them to say. Not guilty. It's it. Not guilty to murder, to manslaughter, and whatever the hell else she's charged with. I don't even know. Not guilty. All of it. So that's the first thing that that's going to be a tough one for you. That's going to be a tough one for you. But you're going to swallow that shit. You understand that? You are going to just take a big gulp. You're going to swallow that shit. And it's going to be tough to swallow that one. But it's reality, man. It's reality. It's coming. It's coming. So I just want to I didn't want you to say that I didn't warn you. because I did warn you, it's coming, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's over. There's been nothing you could do about it for quite some time. There was nothing you could do in the pretrial, and there's certainly nothing you could do now that we've had a goddamn trial and the facts are all out there, and a jury of independent people has heard these facts. There's nothing you can do. It's over. So just trust me on that one. I know, because I'm in the anti-free Karen Reed group. I love that group. I love reading these lunatics on there. Like, let me just go on there right now. I'll read some of them, because they think it's a secret group. There's only 7,000 people in our secret group, and they're so mad. So let me find some haters on here, and they don't know which one I am in there. All right, let's see here. They're really mad about Lucky too. And this lunatic named Crystal K runs the group. and this is what they wrote the other day about the timeline when Nicholas Garino said that Karen was at John's house at 12:36, but Lally said 12:45. She's still at the house. So they're having a tough time with this one. So this chick, Critical K, her real name, by the way, is not Critical K. Her real name is the hell is her real name? I found it here. Karen Yax, Y-A-X. She has been sued for $500,000. Apparently, that's what came up when I researched her. And default judgment, no more loose. Yeah, so she had a default judgment against her for libel. I guess this is what she does, and she's kind of runs this anti-free Karen Reed group that Krusty Panties has joined and become an admin in as well. And so, like she wrote, I admit I'm totally confused now about the time the state believes she hit him. And then some loser named Alenka, whatever kind of name that is, Alenka Cohen, says, trust in Lally. He has a plan and will put the pieces together in the end. I'm really disappointed to read some people comments in here about this. These are professionals, people. They know what they're doing better than we do. It's just like, it's wild. I'm reading this chick, Melissa George, who I supported during she wrote this thing about fuck Karen Reed. Like, she lost her job. Melissa lost her job as a CO because she wouldn't get the jab a couple years ago. I hope she realizes that, like, bro, Michael Proctor got the jab. So like he like these people that, like, you know, you're a principled person. You didn't want to get it. Good for you. You got principles, blah, blah, blah. But when push came to shove, you just got in fucking line. That's what you did. You just went along with the same corrupt machine that pushed that shit on you. Because Michael Proctor is corrupt and he got to keep his job. You know why he got to keep his job? Because he got the jab. Because he's a good dog. He's a good dog. And that's the kind of people that they want in the state police. Good dogs that don't question shit and go along with this narrative and just do what they're freaking told to do. They're good dogs. So shame on you if you can't see that. But also we see here other comments. I mean, you guys got to join this group. What else do we have here? There's some other good ones. They're so mad about Lucky. They're so mad about Lucky. Let's see. Jill Daniels had a long post today. Hold on one sec. All right. Yeah, Jill Daniels writes, I can't even. So she posted this picture of Lucky with Rita and Jennifer O'Donnell and Allison and Dina and a couple other people out there. And she goes, I can't even begin to find the right words for this one. This is disgusting. So after court, Lucky came out and he got like a hero's welcome and said, there is nothing happy about this case. There is zero reason to tailgate a murder trial, knowing that the O'Keefe family has to see this circus. And the Solo Cups headband on Jennifer O'Donnell is childish and ignorant, just like these people. P.S. There is nothing lucky about one person in this picture. So let me explain something to Jill Daniels, because I know Jill Daniels is listening. I know she watches every show I do, flicking the bean, because she will never get this, even though she wants to hate fuck the shit out of me. She can't. She's gross. I would rather, if I wanted to bed Jill Daniels, I would go lie down on a leather couch that's been left out in the rain for 2 years. Okay. I don't want you, Jill Daniels. I don't want you. Leave me alone. But I do want to speak to Jill Daniels real quick because she says this. So she says, I can't even begin to find the right words for this one. This is disgusting. No, Jill, you're disgusting. Have you seen your face? Looks aside. Moisturizer is your friend. Okay. Number one. But that's the least offensive thing about you and your trash bag family. Y'all murdered a cop. Not you, Jill, but your family did. Your family murdered a cop, a human being. Then they covered it up. Then they blamed an innocent woman. This is not an opinion. It is a fact. It is an undeniable fact. And it's ridiculous that we are even debating this. It is childish. It is stupid. And the vast majority of people know exactly what happened. Only really dumb people are even thinking that Karen Reed might not be innocent. There is zero reason to tailgate a murder trial knowing that the O'Keefe family has to see this circus. Okay, so first of all, we're not tailgating. We're supporting. We're not even protesting. We're supporting Karen Reed. And we're supporting justice because that's what we're going to get out of this. That's what they're there to do. This isn't fun and games. This is positivity, obviously, because we're going to have a positive outcome. We're not tailgating, Jill, right? And you don't get to have the fake moral authority when your family killed someone, Jill. I never want you to forget that. We are never going to forget that. Every time you go out in public with that dog who you're unworthy of having because it's a good dog and you're a bad girl, right? Every time you go out in public, everyone's going to know what your family did. And all this bullshit posted in this group with 7,000 people, lunatics, Jill, who you and I both know that you would never associate with prior to this. You would look down on these people that's in this group. Crusty panties? I mean, Jesus Christ. You talked to the fake victim on the day I went to jail. You would never associate with trash like that. You know she's trash. Come on, Jill. Stop it. Stop it. You know that you would look down on these people, but you know why you have to be friends with them, Jill? Because you got no one else. You got nobody else in your corner. No one who matters actually has your back. That's it. You got a bunch of towny trash. You got an elderly geriatric boyfriend who needs help getting to the bathroom, and you got to put him to bed at 4:30 p.m. every night because that's the best you can find. And you're Karen Reed's age, and you look 40 years older than her. You're disgusting. Anyway, so I could just go on and on about that. I mean, I got a lot of opinions here. Like, for instance, like, I just want to say, right, to all, like, the haters out there, like, I just want to make something very clear, okay? So please listen. Just please listen. Karen Reed is never going to jail, and you're going to find that out this week. And then after that, I got even worse news for you. Even worse news. I'm not going to jail either. I will never go to jail again. I will never spend another night in jail. I went in jail for 60 days over some fake bullshit. That's it. Witness intimidation? I hate come on, stop it. You have Mello. If you think Lally's incompetent, wait till you meet Mello. My goodness. Wait till you meet the First Amendment. Everything that I did and said in this entire debacle that I'm being charged with has turned out to be true in front of an audience of millions. Everything I did. Yeah, I went to Jennifer McCabe's kids' lacrosse game. Oh no. And I asked her questions about a Google search. Well, guess what? According to Rick Green yesterday on the stand, she Googled that at 2:27 and then deleted it. So I was right. When I called her a cop killer, that was exactly what she was. I called her exactly what she was. That is not witness intimidation. That is an award-winning journalist and a political activist confronting trash in public and calling her trash to her face. That's it. I will never apologize for that. I will never go to jail for that. A jury is going to acquit me of that if the miracle that we even make it to trial. It would be a fucking miracle if y'all even made it to trial after what just happened in the last 8 weeks in Dedham. We're never going to trial. Like, come on. We're going to do this all over again? Because that's what it's going to require. We got to do it all over again. Chris Albert's got to take the stand. He's got to explain a lot. He's got to explain how, we caught him in a lie. Now, Chris Albert, by the way, is the one that put his son in the house. He said his son didn't get home till 12:45. He's the one that said that. Everything I said and did just became legitimized. Turtle Boy was right, and that's it. So, when this is all over, it's going to go down as one of the greatest injustices in American legal history. And the question is, what side will you be on? There's three groups of people: the McAlbert mafioso, Free Karen Reed supporters, and then the fence sitters. The McAlbert mafioso, they represent a small fraction of the population. Most of them are deadbeats with nothing to lose. So it really means nothing to them, like in the long run, that they align themselves with pure evil. They're going to go back, the Kimberly Fairs of the world, the Critical K, whoever she is, Crusty Panties, like these people are going to go back, fake victim. They're going to go back and they're just going to keep living their welfare, drug addicted lifestyles, meeting with their DCF workers every other week. And what do they give a shit if any of this happens? They're poor, they're shitty, they are what they are, right? They don't give a shit. So they have nothing to lose. They don't care that there's going to be thousands of screenshots out there of tweets they made defending cop killers. They don't care about that, right? And crooked government officials, cold-blooded murders, they don't care. But the fence sitters, they're hardly any better. The fence sitters, I got to be honest. And we should kind of look with them at this point. We got to look at them with the same amount of scorn as we do the McAlbert mafioso. I'm sorry. These are some of the most cowardly people of them all. These are the ones who saw mountains and mountains of evidence showing that not only is Karen Reed 1000% factually innocent, but that John O'Keefe was killed inside Brian Albert's house and left outside to die alone in the cold like trash. They knew this all. And what did they do in light of this information? They sat on the fence like cowards. They did. And, people like, some content creators out there who have been following this, that they know all this. Like, note my objection. No, it's Catherine Loftus. Is that her name? She's like a lawyer on NBC. She's not stupid. She knows what's going on. She's just a coward. At the end of the day, she's just a coward who goes on her TikTok and is like, people should be nice to each other. People should be nice to the O'Keefes. If you're starting saying shit like that, people shouldn't be. You've already bought into the false narrative. The bigger injustice here is not people being mean to the O'Keefes, which, by the way, isn't happening. It's fake. But the much bigger injustice isn't that somebody was rude to Paul O'Keefe or Peggy O'Keefe or whatever. The bigger injustice, note my objection, and people like you, is that John O'Keefe was murdered by the McAlberts and left outside to die, and that an innocent woman was framed and has had to spend over $1 million on legal defense to protect herself from a corrupt institution who we put our faith in, who we pay our taxes to, who work for us, who have all the guns and all the power. And Catherine Loftus and people like that are going to say, oh my God, the biggest issue here is people being rude to the O'Keefes. Fuck you. Seriously. Fuck yourself. If you can't see the much larger issue here about what is happening, then you're just as bad as them. And when this is all said and done, and Karen Reed is free, and I am free, there will be no coming back from people like you. We will remember you for the fence-sitting trash you are. The fence-sitting wastes of space, because that's what you are. You're a fence-sitting loser. Read the room. Read the room. Look who's supporting in real life every day at that courthouse, Karen Reed. Hundreds of people are showing up every day. Have you seen a single person out there, just one, saying Karen Reed's guilty? No, because that's real life. That's real life. You fence-sitting cowards sit on the internet and you're so gutless that you're worried about the comment section. You're worried about the comment section. People are going to leave negative comments on my TikTok. What am I going to do? These fucking losers are going to write mean things about me. Cowards, all of you. You had the chance to say something. You had the chance to stand up to this, and there's been a lot of great people out there, and I don't want to forget them all, right? People like Melanie Little, who has a large platform and is an attorney and goes on Court TV all the time and doesn't get up there and say, you know, I could go either way on this. I don't know. The prosecution's doing a good job. No, she's like, Karen Reed is an innocent woman, and this is an injustice. That's what she does with her platform. She's responsible with it, right? DUI guy, Larry Foreman, another guy on there, has a large platform prior to this and uses it to tell the truth about this case. I mean, I could go down the line with content creators, but those two stand up because they already existed. They already existed, and they weren't, you know, like they've been covering true crime and all that shit long before Karen Reed came around, and they, you know, but there's also been a lot of newer people. I don't want to forget it. I hate mentioning people because I'm going to forget one and I'm going to feel like a jerk. Right. But like off the top of my head, people like the Glarer, Brian LTL, Sean the Gulf, you know, the Young Jerks, Mazza Media, and Mark Betterow, kind of a trio there. You got Paul, Dana, and Tracy. You got Brandy Churchwell has a really good podcast. Who she's been outlining this for months now. You know, I don't want to say, I'm forgetting. I know I've forgotten people, right? I know I've forgotten people. So like, I don't want to, that's why I don't want to name names, because I know I'm forgetting people, right? But they suck. They suck. And let's not forget all the little people, man. All the little people out there every day protesting, who have been with us since day one on this shit, who have been coming to the rolling rally, coming to my court dates, coming to the Karen Reed court dates, who are out there every day organizing fundraisers, protests. You know, shout out to, you know, Erica Walsh. You know, she was one of the people that helped organize, obviously, the Halloween party, right? Doesn't want shit in return. She's out there every single day leading the protest. Chrissy Mello, Tom CPU. I could go on and on and on. Again, I don't want to mention people because there's so many of you. I'm going to forget y'all. Right? But like, yeah, I mean, I have Emily Baker. I'm very happy. Like, I don't know if she's come out 100% and said free Karen Reed, but pretty much she has. Lawyer Lee is another one. Very good. She gets it. She's been on the right side of this from the beginning. Truth and transparency. Oh, she's been around. Lena has been around a long time on this, doing great work over there. Okay. Andrea Burkhart. How can I forget? Another one. Oh, she's been fantastic with this. Fantastic. Again, there's so many new law terms I'm finding out. Runkle, he's the guy with the white hair, right? The long white hair. Is he free Karen Reed? I mean, it looks like it from his tweets. I think so. I think he's free Karen Reed. Legal Bites is another one. Uncivil Law. I'm not entirely sure, you know, where all that was, but, you know, sorry, I'm like catching up. Yeah, he is. Okay. Annie Elise has been another good one. You know, definitely used her. Howie Carr, you know, came on later, but it's never too late, man. Never too late. You know, and lawyer, you know, interest. Oh, Microdots. How can Microdots is, there's also the talent that has emerged during this whole fiasco, right? There's been so many talented people that have come out. Brian Hale Photography, just a tremendous photographer out there who I'd highly recommend after this is all said and done. You know, Richie over at Mike. Nobody's as talented as Richie. Just the videos he puts out of Microdots is just unbelievable. I hope he does this the rest of his life, and I hope he uses this Karen Reed case as a way to do that, to realize what his talents are and to get out there and fly, birdie, fly. You know, it goes on and on and on. Again, I hate naming people because I always forget people, but I don't want, like, I haven't forgotten about you people, you know. The Baker, how can I forget the Baker? Who else broke? Again, I'm going to forget. Oh, dude, this is why I don't like naming people. There's so many of you people. You've all been great. You've all been great. You've all had the chance. This was a real test, Aussie Insider. If this was your chance, if you couldn't look at this, and I want to talk about this one in a minute. If you couldn't look at this and just say, if you can't do what Melanie Little did and just say, this is wrong, and I can't pretend that there are two sides of this. Oh, Olivia Lambo. How could I forget her? Talk about talented. Just on Twitter alone, there's like so many great accounts out there. There's too many. Jerry Thornton has come on lately at Barstool. That one's got to suck. That one's got to suck for Bukaki. He cannot like that one. He cannot let Auntie Deb is a funny one. So as for the, the lawyer, I said Mike Crawford. I got Young Jerks on there. Man, I'm going down and reading all these. So as for people like lawyer, and who else did I have on there? Joel from STS and Vinnie Politan. Those are the kind of three that come to mind first, and note my objection. It's like, where, like, you all know, I've heard Vinnie Politan speak before. He knows what's going on. At least Julie Grant, his coworker over there at Court TV, at least she comes out and like, she's a liar, but at least she's going down hard with the lie. Like, what does Vinny do? He gets on there. He's like, oh, gee, I don't know if this is really good. Yeah, the prosecution. We'll see what the Commonwealth has tomorrow. Stop treating this like a regular case. It's not a regular case. I know people like Vinny do this for a living, right? And they're so used to, like, the district attorney's office being somewhat honest. That's not what we have here. This is out and out corruption. They're not hiding it. And you need to do the responsible thing with your platform and call that shit out, because you're not. And I love the lawyer. I listen to his thing. I've gotten into him because of this. He seems like a nice guy. And it's very clear listening to him talk. I listen to all his shows. It's very clear listening to him talk that he knows that Karen Reed's innocent. Like, he knows that she's not guilty. No doubt he's made that without outright saying it, but yet he still does this song and dance where he acts like he's not, like, he won't go full Melanie Little. He won't go full Melanie Little. Like, you got to go full Melanie Little, or else you're just kind of a coward, I think, because he knows. And it's like they're sitting on the fence because they're kind of playing it safe. Like, oh, maybe this goes the wrong way, and I don't want to be fully invested, but it ain't going to go the wrong way. And if it does, that's an injustice too. That's an injustice too. Like, after she's found not guilty, it's too late. It's too late. You can't jump on the train after she's not guilty, because it is coming. And you need to step up now. The Vinnie Politans, the Joel STS, he's kind of seems like some of his tweets, he gets it. And by the way, like, I went on a show in August. He's told me he's going to invite me on. He don't have me on ever. Joel, what's up? I don't know if you guys know Joel. I would tweet at him at podcast. What is it? STS. Get Turtle Boy on your show, Joel. I will promise you this. I've watched your show a few times. You get decent ratings. You have me on there, Joel. Your ratings are going to go through the roof. You are going to have the highest rated show you've ever had in your life. That's not me being cocky or arrogant. That's just it is. Look at the numbers, bro. How many people we got watching right now? How many people over here? We got 8,000 right now, and the night is young on YouTube. God knows how many more on Twitter. We got 15,000 people total in all the platforms. Okay. So come on, brother. You're talking about Karen Reed every day. I'm the Karen Reed expert. Get me on, brother. He said he's going to have me on, but he hasn't. Now, like, and then there's the people like, it's just boring. If I don't really know, bro, come on, stop it. All I got to say to them is this: people like lawyer, and people like that, just read your comment section. Just read your comment section. Go on. Let me go on a lawyer, I don't mean to pick out him in particular because he seems like a nice guy, etc. But I just want to show you his comment section. Okay. Just to kind of make something. Hold on. I got my text message. All right. So let me see this. So I could go over here and let's see. His most recent one about the most recent. Okay. And so read his comments section, right? Real quick. Read it. Unless the prosecution comes up with a last minute bombshell, if I was a juror, it would be not guilty. You can't be dragged out of a car on the ground and be thrown several feet onto a lawn at the same time. The judge showed me that she's basically the prosecutor. She's helped Lally at every turn. It's so bad. Even with all her help, Karen should be found not guilty. I've been a juror multiple times, and the fact that the judge overrules most of the defense's questions would irritate me. I want to hear the evidence. She is as transparent as a Dollar Tree toilet paper. Watching Lally trying to be Jackson is hilarious. So he finally raises his voice, but attacks innocent witnesses right off the bat, trying to be tough for no reason. What a joke. Like, dude, I would highly just recommend to the lawyer, and people like that, bro, read your comment section. Hundreds of comments every time on your videos, and literally none of them, not one of them, says Karen Reed is guilty. Not one of them. Read the room. You are not taking a chance or a gamble by doing what Melanie Little and me do, outright saying that Karen Reed's innocent. Please read the room. Don't be a coward. Being a fence sitter is a coward, and you're hardly better than the McAlbert mob. I guess you're just not that interesting either. Like, why the fuck would anyone want to watch your show after this if that's what you are? If you're just like confronted with something so obvious and you're like, bro, let's listen to both sides. Yeah, both sides are kind of equal here. Oh, yeah, well, the Commonwealth has this, but Karen Reed has this. Bro, it's a fucking murder cover-up. Open your fucking eyes. She's innocent. He was killed inside the goddamn house, thrown outside in the lawn like trash, and then they cover it up. And you're out here saying, oh, well, maybe there's a case. Maybe she did it. I don't know. I need to hear this. Oh, really? I hit him. Shut the fuck up. You're useless. You're useless, these people. Anyway, that's my rant. Read the room. Okay. So I'm fired up because this is ending in a few days. I was just thinking about this earlier. This is ending in a few days. And I just there's no amnesty after this. Like I listened to the Glare the other day. I love the Glare. Right. And he's like, Plevin, come back. No, too late. There's no amnesty for these people. They're done. They will never be forgiven for what they did. Nothing. They will be punished with social ostracism for the rest of their lives. Period. End of story. Okay. I love Peter. Again, I know. He's like a nice guy. It's like, he's a nice guy. He needs to use his platform to say Karen Reed is innocent because that's what she is. And he knows it too. And he knows it. Okay. All right. So at some point tonight, we're having a little technical. We are going to do this. We raised in like 2 or 3 days, almost $50,000 for the 6733. We're just going to call it the 6733 because Karen Reed needs one more push to get her over the top because these experts from ARCA that need to come up here and tell the jury what is plainly obvious, somebody's got to pay for their airfare and their hotels. And that's just wild that God knows what she's had to pay just to get housing for Jackson and Little this whole time. Oh my goodness gracious. And fly them in here, etc. So we have raised almost $50,000. Okay. It's like 49.8 or something like that for the 6733. So 67% of that is a little over $33,000. So that's what Karen Reed, her defense team, is going to be getting from us. Somebody else is going to get tonight, like I think it's 16 or 17,000. I don't have the exact number. It's going to be messaged to me. So we are going to spin this wheel tonight. Well, it's the first time we've ever tried this, and holy shit, these are amazing fundraisers. We're going to do this now. Like, don't forget about your boy when this is all said and done, because I got my bills too. I had $250,000 I got to pay, right? So we're going to do that. Anyway, we got a long show tonight, so buckle up, folks. Buckle up. So here's the deal. If you guys want to have your messages read out loud to the class, you click at the link at the top for Turtle Chat, and I will read your messages out loud to the class and you know, or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtle Boy. So, wait, I mean, I like Joel. He's a nice guy. I like Peter at Lawyer. You know, I want to make it very clear. I like those guys. They seem like nice people, but they got to get off the fence. No more fencing. All right. All right. Anyway, let me read some turtle chats here. Okay, first one from Linda Boo sends $30 and says, "Keep fighting. We need more independent journalists like you. Tell Kat I said hi." Thank you very much, Linda. Glenn sends $20 and says, "Jill Daniels looks like a human cigarette that was vomited on by Tan Mom." Okay. What nasty low life to go after Lucky. He's as solid as they come. Love you, Unc. Thanks for all you do. Free Karen Reed. Thank you. And we're going to be listening to all that testimony tonight. Egger sends $10 and goes, "I hope Karen gives you the first exclusive interview when this is over." I hope she does too. That would be really cool. I'd like to set up have a place, make it an event, sell tickets to go, stuff like that. I think that would be really cool. But as far as the verdict party, I've thought about this a lot. Remember I said I wanted to have a verdict party? So there's just too many variables for one thing, because we don't know when that's going to be. So if I were to rent a place out, I can't rent a place out and be like, well, maybe this is the day they come up with the verdict. And also it's like, what if the verdict comes at 9:30 or 10? Like, are we going to party there? Like, how does that work? There's just a lot of things. So I'm thinking, instead of like a verdict party, right? We have a party Friday somewhere and rent out a place. Okay. I need to rent out like a place that could fit like 200 people at least. Right. We need to have a party because by Friday she'll be not guilty. I have full confidence in that. So hopefully by Friday we can have a party somewhere and do it that way. All right. Anyway, yeah, party hard. And yeah, people are mad in the comments. I'm seeing stuff like this every time I look. People are like, and again, I want to be very clear. What the fuck, Lawyer? No, is literally on the same side as you, Turtle Boy. You're being an idiot. No, Kate, I think you're missing the point, dear. I realize he's on the same side as me. I think he needs to say that. I mean, that's just my opinion. He just needs to say it. Like, enough with because I listen. I'm a fan. I listen to him every day, right? And he's a nice guy, so I'm not going to shitting on him. He seems like a nice guy, right? And I feel the same way about Joel, right? Nice guy. Vinny Politan, nice guy. I mean, I could say what Jen does here, but I'm not going to say that. You're missing the whole point, okay? You're missing the whole point. They know she's innocent, and it's irresponsible not to flat out say that. That's just what I'm going to say. But 200 people. I mean, again, that would be dope, you know, just for the part. I mean, you can't fit. You have to find a really big place. People talk about 2,000. So I need to find a place where, and people are like, I'm terrified the jury's going to get it wrong. No, don't worry. You haven't seen the jury. I have. I don't know what the Zachariah Anderson jury looked like. I haven't looked much into that case. People say it was an injustice. I haven't looked at it much into it. Karen Reed is not going to end up like that. Not in this jury. No. This jury is going to be a not guilty jury. 1,000%. So I like the waterfall. It's just too small. Can't fit 200 people in the waterfall. No way. Yeah. The Glare has seen, the jury. He knows what's going to happen. So, yeah. So we got to get this venue. I want to rent a place hopefully for Friday night. That's my goal. Right. And I think we can have a Friday because she'll be not guilty. Okay. She'll be not guilty by then. And, we'll figure it out. Now, as for the day the verdict's going to happen, everyone should come to the courthouse. Like, that's where the party should be, outside the courthouse. We can't drink or anything like that, but that's okay. And I'm like, do I want to be inside the courtroom? Because it's going to be really hard for me not to like be enthusiastic and high five a motherfucker. And so I think, I'm going to go outside. Like, I think I'll be outside with the people when this happens. I think that's what I'm going to do. And then we're going to rent duck boats and we're going to go to Canton. And because it's going to happen. And I'm like, I don't know if I can contain myself inside the courtroom now. And like also, like I was invited out by my colleagues. This is another cool thing. They invited me out for drinks like afterwards. Ted Daniel did actually, and Sue O'Connell. I like them now. Like I've gotten to know these people on a professional and somewhat personal level. I feel like over the last 5 or 6 weeks, seeing them almost every day for several hours a day, working with them. They're all really cool. All of them. Like I did not like Sue O'Connell before this because she's opposite political end of me, but I didn't know her as a person. She's actually like a really cool, down to earth person. She's like your cool liberal aunt. You know what I mean? That you don't get along with politically, but she's still your aunt. If that makes sense. And you can still find things to talk about. So like, that's cool, but I want to have like a party for turtle riders at the end of this all, like rent some shit out, but it's just going to be great, man. And Ted Daniel has done a lot, Ted Daniel has really been pushing the federal investigation stuff since like November and December. So that'd be really cool getting, stuff like that. But okay. And I can't wait to meet jurors. And I got to find jurors after this too and interview them. Evangeline sends $20. And so it says KA and TD by next week. Karen Reed is free. Yes, she will be. Patricia sends $12 and says, so happy the 227 Google search was confirmed. I love that the expert with his Chris Farley vibe. He did have a bit of a Chris Farley vibe. We're going to get to him. Next up, let's see. Got a few here. I got to bang through. Hold on. Holy shit. We got a bunch here. I got to read these fast. All right. Ready? Okay. Adam sends $10, says, I have a source that saw Chris Albert walking into a defense attorney's office in Boston last week. That's interesting. Thank you. Bobby sends $6 and says, Jen and Matt McCabe have the same terrible chick lit looking veneers. Yes, except he has bigger titties. Becky sends $5, says, I can't believe the moment we've been waiting for is almost here. Free Karen Reed. I know. God bless you. Renee, who has been pushing this movement for quite some time down in the Plymouth area, says, say hi to Luna. She's made her first Free Karen Reed sign with me for tomorrow's last Plymouth standout. I wish I could be there, Renee. God bless you and the work you've done. Dean fucking Smith sends $10 and says, where do we buy your merch? I'd like to buy the Hoss Long to Die in cold t-shirt. So there is a link to the Turtle Boy store on tbdailynews.com. I recommend doing that. And instead of going through these Etsy shit that everybody's trying to sell their merch on there now, hook up your boy, right? Get the official Turtle Boy Free Karen Reed shit on. Thank you. Mermaid Mary sends, let's see, $5 and says, we've nicknamed the ARCA guys the Crash Daddies. So you have some daddy competition. The Crash Daddies. The chicks love those guys. They were like, especially the first Doctor. They were loving Dr. Wolf. Thank you. Mary sends $10 and says, beyond grateful for all you've done for Karen and for all your previous local exposés. After she's finally found not guilty, will you continue to go after justice for John? And what does that look like? Yes, I will. And that will be in the form of peacefully protesting and awaiting the results of the federal investigation. Katie sends 25 and says, free Karen Reed, free the turtle. We love you, Aidan, Katie, Kelly, Chrissy, Melissa, and Cooper. Let's fucking go. Yes. Allie McCabe, nice, sends $10 and says, don't worry, I'm not that Allie McCabe. Thanks, Allie. Is that really your name? That's wild. Nicholas sends $25, says, with the amount of people at the Albert's house who noticed Karen's Lexus arrive in front of the house and kept looking to see if her car moved forward, how were they not looking when she apparently ran him over? I know. So what bad timing that they all had, huh? About the time they were looking out. Everyone was looking out that window, but they all missed. They all missed it when, she ran him over. So they missed out on that. Yeah. They saw everything as far as how many times she drove forward, but missed her backing into him and hitting him. Thank you for doing all you do. You're the one I watch for all the Karen Reed updates. Free Karen Reed. Thank you. Don Capo sends $5 and says, Doctor, you should be played by Jeremy Renner and Anna Kendricks for Karen. Don't know who that is, but I know Jeremy Renner, but the movie will be great. It has to be said. In the end, the feds will come and flip the whole DA's office upside down. Hawk Tua. Yeah, that's the new meme of the week. Hawk Tua. Jessica sends 25 bucks and says, really appreciate your coverage. Long live the local and independent journalists and reporters. Godspeed, Turtle Boy. Well, thank you very much, Jessica. I appreciate that. Glamasuz sends 75 bucks. Thank you, Glamasuz. Says, new shirt to be made. Free Karen Reed with mission accomplished across it. Great job, Aidan. Your kids will be so proud when they learn all you did. Thank you very much, Glamasuz. And, you know, one shirt I do want to get, I just want to get the Karen Reed picture. Not guilty. That's what I want right across the top. Not guilty. Because I'm going to wear that one proudly when this is done. By the way, we have never seen Karen Reed's mugshot, have we? I'd like to see that. It can't be as cool as mine, but, you know, we all can't be that. But, okay. Next up, we have here, where'd it go? Jill sends 10 bucks, says the truth will always prevail. Thank you very much. Seth sends 10 bucks and says, cue the duck boats. Can we have a duck boat parade through Canton after Karen's found not guilty? I'm looking into that. Seriously. Latina sends 10 bucks and says a big time lawyer, Tim Jansen from Tallahassee, has been saying Karen Reed is innocent. Rob D'Amico, retired FBI, always on SNS, says Karen's innocent and said not to feel bad for Trooper Paul. He said Trooper Paul is trying to put someone in jail on lies. Very good point, Latina. Thank you. Evelyn sends 10 bucks and says, Dr. Turtleboy, you better find another good trial after Karen Reed's. Otherwise, I'll be washing my husband's chones after this trial. I'll find another good one, but we'll never find anything as good as the Karen Reed trial. I do want to get into the Adelsons. That Wendy Adelson chick, she's like another Jen McCabe, another one that I just know that motherfucker. Come on. I know that she helped kill that dude. Come on. Her brother's in jail and her mother's arrested. And come on. That one, she's on my list. That one, Wendy Adelson. You're next. Next up, DW sends 25 bucks. And the other one that I'm obsessed with, this case, even though it's kind of open and shut, but I just find him like a wild defendant, is Rob Tellis out of Nevada, out of Las Vegas. This dude, he was like a city elected official in town, and he killed a goddamn reporter, and he's fucking insane. He's like the biggest narcissist ever. And he's defending himself. Everybody tells me to follow Delphi, Zachariah Anderson, even though that one's already been litigated. But, you know, there's a lot of, the Monica Cannon Grant trial. I'm going to have that coming up too. That's going to be in December. Good point. Okay, next up. Lindsay sends 10 bucks, spelled the different way, luckily. And she says, we love you, Turtle Boy, from Lindsay, Gabby, and Nene in northern Michigan. Nice. The peninsula? Sweet. Thank you. Let's see. Linda sends 10 bucks and says, Turtle Boy, watch the video Reconstruction Azget Industries made of the Commonwealth's theory. It destroys it completely. Send it on over if you got that. Thank you. DW sends 25 bucks and says, do you have a vacation planned after this trial is over? A well-earned and long overdue. I am going back to Truro again at the end of the summer. Love it there. Actually delayed my vacation simply because of this trial. Okay. And we're going to do the drawing in a minute. Just to let you know. Let's see. Wayne sends 10 bucks, says must feel good right now. About one quick thought. Lucky Loughran, Marie Russell, and Rick Green were 3 hours total. Absolutely on point. Devastating sham trial. I know. It's amazing what happens when Lally's no longer running the show. Kate sends 5 bucks and says, you're being dumb. Lawyer, you know, literally says the exact same thing everyone else is saying, that there's no evidence and Karen Reed won't be found not guilty. He does say that, but why not say Karen Reed's innocent? Not that Karen Reed will be found not guilty, because everybody knows she's going to be found not guilty. That's kind of undeniable that she's going to be found not guilty. How about saying Karen Reed's innocent? That's what you should be saying. Karen Reed is not just not guilty. Karen Reed is factually innocent. And if you're not saying that, you're not being honest with your audience, period. That's just what I'm saying. All right. Lori sends 50 bucks, says, hello from Washington State. Thank you for shining a light on this case. You rock. Thank you. Lori Hudson. Thank you very much. 50 bucks. Thank you. Okay. And then Leah sends 10 bucks and says, I can't wait for the fireworks on the courthouse steps when Karen can speak up after this is over and the verdict is read. Free Karen Reed, free Turtle Boy. Okay. I'm going to read some cash apps in a minute. It's almost 10. Holy shit. But first, we need to do the goddamn drawing. So I'm going to add here. Okay. Here's how this is going to work. There were, I think, almost 6,000 entrants, I want to say, in this. I don't know what we're going to call this. We're just going to call it the 6733. And I thought about doing 3 winners because it's like, bro, how much is it? I think it's like 16 or 17,000 for the winner, right? Let's see. Actually, I can see right here. There it is. $16,433.65 is going to the winner of this thing. So I thought about dividing it by 3 but I can't do it on this one because people entered it because I know there would be people complaining, and there would be like, all it takes is a couple. And then they go, I entered this and there was only supposed to be 1 winner. There would be some asshole that did that. And then they would complain to Venmo, and then we'd have issues with that. And we don't really need to deal with that. So next time we do something like this, that's what we'll do. We'll set, like, if we do X amount of money, there'll be 1 winner, X amount of money, 2 winners, X amount of money, 3 winners. So we have Meredith is backstage. Let's see. I'm going to ask her. And this is our first time doing this, but if she's ready to spin that thing for me, she can go ahead and do that. Hold on. Okay, hold on. I have to add her. Okay. Can you hear me? You there?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me or not?
Okay. Yeah. Do you want me to mute you or?
No, that's fine. I just wanted to quickly.
Yes.
Here, I'll share. So yeah, there were 5. I just wanted to quickly go over. There were 5,908 entries here. You can see this is the shared screen spreadsheet that I've been logging everybody's entries in that everybody can see. And then here, let me share the spinner here. This is the spinner with 5,908. So we'll shuffle it. But first, I just wanted to thank everybody who entered it and thank Jen Altman and Deanna, who also helped with organizing this. And I just appreciate everybody who donated and everybody for being patient too, especially today with like the flood of entries that came in. This kind of passed all of our expectations on how much this would raise, and we really appreciate it. We just wanted to do one that included everybody in all the groups because I know some people aren't in certain groups or whatever, so we just wanted to include everybody. So we just wanted to thank everybody. We appreciate it, and we'll be doing another one for Aidan soon. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
So
and there's only one winner. One winner.
Yes, 1 winner. We're going to shuffle this a few times for good luck. 13, because that's the best number.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So
all right.
We'll see. Somebody's about
now
to get paid. All right, here we go. Catherine Watson, Wonson. You're going to get paid. All right. So, Karen Reed's getting paid as well. Right. Thank you guys so much for doing this. And, thank you to Meredith and company for putting this whole thing together. You guys just raised a shitload of money. It's going to put Karen Reed over the top. She shouldn't have to be paying for any of this shit to begin with. It's outrageous that she has to pay for any of this shit. And yeah, that's pretty cool. So, all right, cool. Well, thank you, Catherine Watson. So how this can work is you can message Meredith on Facebook, or you can message me, and then I'll set you up with her, whatever's easier. But reach out and enjoy that. And thank you for support. And thank you to everybody who entered. It was all for a great cause. And we'll do this again for my legal defense fund, hopefully soon, because these people love this shit. So, all right, cool. Thank you, Meredith. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you. Yeah. So we'll be in touch about payouts. I know there sometimes can be limits on how much you can pay out a day, but I'll just obviously keep posting screenshots. You guys have this right now, what the balance is there, and I'll keep posting screenshots as things are paid out to Karen and the winner. So thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. So I don't know if Catherine's watching right now, but congratulations. Congratulations. Let me just read some more. Then we got to get started. It's almost 10 o'clock. It is 10 o'clock. And we haven't even got started on the actual trial. So Erica sends $25 on Cash App and says, watching from Newburyport. Great place to watch it. Thanks, Erica. Jessica sends 10 and says, PACC in Taunton, huge, lots of parking. Whoever owns that, I'd have to speak to them. Thank you. Leslie sends $5 and says, I love your shirts, but where can I buy the merch? Right on tvdailynews.com. There's a link at the top, a tab that says store or shop or whatever. You just buy that. Ashley sends 15 and goes, supporting Karen in Southern Mississippi. Love it. We're everywhere. Thank you, Ashley. Kay sends $10 and says, ordered shirts June 9th, still haven't gotten. What? Message the page. You should be able to, they should be, sometimes they take like a week or so, but that's more than a week. Okay. Thank you, Kay. Just message the email turtlepods@gmail.com and they'll take care of it. Elaine sends $50 and says, do the feds have geofencing for 34 Fairview? You know, if they did, I feel like they would know that John O'Keefe was in there by now and they would have arrested somebody. Okay. Be very clear because I want to be clear about this. Peter stuck up for me. I think he's a nice guy. I can't see, this is what's wrong with you cunts. I can't even say a nice thing about somebody. I think he's a nice guy. I think he knows Karen Reed's innocent. I wish you would say it. That's all. Is that freaking hard? Is that really that big of a fucking criticism that you can't get over that shit? Seriously? That you can't get over that shit? It's a little light criticism. We love people. Jesus fucking Christ, you people. This is the wrong place for you if you can't stand a little fucking light criticism. With great power comes great responsibility. Peter knows that Karen Reed's innocent. It would go a long way if he said that. That's all I'm saying. Jesus fucking Christ, with the sensitivity shit here. Oh my God. Oh my God. Anyway. Christ almighty. Seriously. How about better this? Get the fuck out of here. I actually don't want you here if that's your take on it. If you're that sensitive, this is not the channel for you. This isn't the channel where we sit on fences and we kind of play it down the middle. No, this is the channel where we keep it real and we tell the truth and we get the facts out there. And guess what? I've been right about fucking everything. And if you can't stomach that and swallow it and be like, yeah, he's a little arrogant. Yeah, he's a little bit rough around the edges. But guess what? He's the only person that's been saying this shit from day one. So take the good with the bad and shut the fuck up and go eat your cheese sandwich and understand that in a couple days, Karen Reed's going to be free. And we had a large part in that. Thank you very much, Mariana. Who said, Mariana sends $10 and goes, without you, there would be no movement. God bless. Thank you. Alyssa sends $5 and says, Turtle Boy, we love you. Alyssa and Taylor, both attorneys. Well, thank you very much, Alyssa. Shannon sends $10. Shannon McMahon, former DA candidate in Bristol County, and goes, we need to open our eyes and vote. Yes, we do, because Michael Morrissey got into office because no one ran against him. So somebody's got to run against him, and we got to vote for them. Michelle sends $10 and says, AJ doing a pirouette. How funny was that? I know. Things you never thought you'd see. Thank you very much. Tracy sends $50 and says, cue the duck boats, bitches. I know. It's coming, baby. Thank you very much, Tracy. Diane sends $100 and says, where are the mega pints of blood? That's what everybody wants to know. It's inside the house. That's where it is. Thank you very much, Diane. Michael sends $20 and says, we need the feds and restructure corrupt mass state police. Yes, we do. Jay the girl sends $5 and says, will you live stream your victory party? I don't know if I'll live stream the whole party, but parts of it for sure. Abby sends $6 and says, can someone happen to the witnesses that lied on the stand? Odds of that happening are slim, of anybody being charged with actual perjury. No one ever is. But yeah. Anyway, $20 from Jane sending you positive vibes. Aidan, we got you. Thank you. Maggie sends $5 and says, what was the motive for beating John O'Keefe in your opinion? It was just a fight gone wrong. I think it was just a fight gone wrong that ended badly. I think he got drunk people getting in an argument, got in a fight, and it went too far. That's what I think happened. Tammy sends $20 and says, thanks for interviewing Lucky. Free Turtle Boy. You're very, very welcome. Carrie Ann sends $20 and says, Thank you so much for blowing this open. My pleasure, Carrie Ann. Samara sends $5 and says, please look into the Sandra Birchmore case next. People keep saying that, bro. I've been looking into that for quite some time. I wrote about the Sandra Birchmore case before it was cool. Thank you very much, Samara. Angela sends $5 and says, love you. Ordered shirts 5:30, still haven't gotten yet. Again, if you have any issues with the merch or whatever, just reach out to customer support. We have a turtlepods@gmail.com. We'll take care of it. We'll look into it. We'll make it right. We have great customer service here at Turtle Boy. So again, anyone else wants to have their messages read, I'll read them periodically later on. We're going to have a long show tonight, probably. Link at the top for Turtle Chat, or you can cash at me at $Uncle Turtle Boy, and we can do it that way. All right, cool. Let's go. Let's get into this. All right. First up. Okay. We're going to start with the Emmy. Well, that's not the Emmy. That's Cell Phone Santa Claus, isn't it? Cell Phone Santa. Rick Green, the man. What a nice guy. We'll get to him. Let's start with the medical examiner. My first timestamp is 39:45. Let's go to that.
Contacted him.
Nope.
He had informed me that they had elevated this up the
occasion to see any photographs, or have you seen any photographs in relation to the defendant's vehicle in this case?
I have seen photographs, yes.
And the size or shape of that vehicle, what, if any, significance did that have to you as far as your exam?
Objection. I'll allow it. When we have a potential vehicle, clearly we look at the height, because one of the things that we do in most or all pedestrian or people struck by a motor vehicle is look at the legs, because in the majority, we see injuries to the legs from the bumper of the car. Again, depending on the kind of car, the size of the car, and the height of the bumper. So
that's one thing I thought she said was interesting, man. The car, there's no injuries to the legs. Who gets hit by a car and their legs aren't fucked up? Their pelvis isn't fucked up. Nothing like that. Just not John O'Keefe, because his arm was out. He got hit with his arm, and that did the pirouette. So I thought that was interesting that she said that. Next timestamp. Now, I had a meeting. I missed a lot of this. I was in another room. I had a meeting, an online meeting I had to attend till like 9:45. And I came back in, and I'm like looking at Christina Rex was standing next to me, and I was looking at her notes. I'm like, what? I missed that? Holy shit. All right, 43:20. Let's go to this part.
Large category that includes contusion.
keep your voice up.
Absolutely. You testified regarding a number of injuries that you referred to as blunt impact injuries, correct?
Yes.
And to be clear, blunt impact injuries are a very, very large category that includes contusions, lacerations, abrasions, and fractures.
Correct.
And you testified similarly that a blunt object can also refer to a large range of objects. Is that right?
Correct.
And I think yesterday you gave the example of a microphone being a blunt object.
Correct.
It could also include something like a baseball bat.
Correct.
A dumbbell.
Could be.
The ground.
Yes.
Or a German Shepherd's claws.
Claws. Possibly, yes.
Where was this before? All I've heard the whole time is the medical examiner ruled this out. The medical examiner said there was no fight. And now she's like, the medical examiner, they get her on the stand. They're like, well, it could be a dumbbell, right? Or a German Shepherd. And she's like, yeah, could be. Didn't rule that out. All we've heard this whole time from the McAlbert mafioso is they've been hiding behind this woman. The medical examiner said this could never have happened. They said it was not a fight. You got hit by a car. She gets on the stand and she's like, no. No, that's actually quite possible that the other alternative happened. So there's that. Next. And by the way, I was reading the comments from the McAlbert Mafia when this is going on, because it is a little delight that I have, is I go on the enemy shit and I read their stuff. And, you know, people like John DePetro, these lying sacks of shit, who will go down in history as supporting cop killers. And like, that's the legacy. Like John DePetro used to kind of be a guy that, you know, people, it was like an independent journalist, supposed to like, look shit up. No, he's just a pussy. He's just a pussy. At the end of the day, that's all John DePetro ever will be. A boot licking pussy. That's all he's ever going to be. Anyway, this woman right here, let's see what she says at the 46-minute mark here about the injuries.
Side of his right knee.
Oh, by the way, they said that. Oh, yeah. Where was I going with that? They started calling this woman a whack job. The Michael Proctor is right. She is a whack job. She's not saying what we wanted her to say anymore. We liked this woman before, but now we don't like her. We trusted her before, but now we don't trust her.
So surely you'd agree that John O'Keefe's injuries, or lack thereof, are inconsistent with having been struck by a 7,000-pound vehicle at 24 miles per hour and being projected 30 feet.
Objection.
Sustained. Break it down, ask it to me. Would you agree that John O'Keefe's injuries, or lack thereof, are inconsistent with having been struck by a vehicle at 24 miles per hour?
I would say it's likely and unlikely at the same time, depending on the position of the body and the vehicle in question.
Well, let me give you a hypothetical. Let's say the person were standing with their arm like this, and they were struck by the rear taillight of a vehicle at 24 miles per hour. Would you agree that his injuries are inconsistent with that scenario?
Objection.
Sustained. Maybe a proton? Sure.
Likely and unlikely at the same time. Okay. But that notice she doesn't say, no, it's unlikely. Like, no, that could, or it's likely. That definitely happened. She's like, she doesn't want to commit to anything. Like, that's the bottom line. This medical examiner does not want to commit to anything. But they told us the whole time that, no, she was committing to that. She ruled out the idea that he was inside the house. Now it's out of the question. Out of the question. So what does she say about the crash reconstruction? She actually talks about this.
To his arm, let's start there, are inconsistent with having been struck by a vehicle. Would you agree that John O'Keefe's injuries to his arm, let's start there, are inconsistent with having been struck by a vehicle at 24 miles per hour and then causing him to spin around and be projected 30 feet?
Okay, so you need to break it down.
Would you agree that John O'Keefe's injury to his arm are inconsistent with having been struck by a vehicle at 24 miles per hour?
I don't know. I am not a reconstruction expert. I'm not a biomechanics expert. I never.
No, you're not. You're not a biomechanics expert. But guess what? We got one of them coming on Monday, so they're going to tell us. And credit to her, she just defers to people who know better than her about this stuff. She's not going to pretend to be, some expert on everything. Like that's not her role.
Personally inspected the car, so I can't offer an opinion on that.
You did examine John O'Keefe's arm, correct?
Yes.
You observed no significant bruising.
Correct.
No fractures.
Correct.
And no broken bones.
Correct.
I'd like to talk about the
No
injuries to
broken
John
bones.
O'Keefe's face. You testified.
Okay, so there's that. All right, the injuries to the face. Let's see what she talks about these. I go to 5210. Let's talk about the injuries to the face.
So that's the laceration to the eye and the two abrasions that you see there on his nose.
Correct.
And you agree that those injuries don't just manifest out of nowhere, right?
Absolutely.
They have to originate from something.
Yes.
Would you agree that his injuries to his face are consistent with having been punched?
That is a possibility.
That is a possibility. But wait, I thought Plevin and them told me that the medical examiner ruled out any possibility of a defensive struggle, of a fight. Never happened. It was ruled out, except she goes, it's a possibility. So it is a possibility. If that was a possibility, then why didn't she say that in her report? And why didn't the police treat it like a possibility? They did not treat this like it was a possibility. They didn't treat these people like suspects at all. At all. So let's see. Talk about the arms.
Your internal examination notes also cite.
Let me see. Go to 56. Let's see. 56. All right. So the jury sees this arm, and that's it.
Blunt force trauma can include injuries from various objects, as you testified, including an animal paw, correct?
Correct.
And you'd agree that these discrete linear abrasions are inconsistent with having been struck by a smooth rear taillight at 24 miles per hour.
Objection.
Because that's a good point. The taillight's not broken when it first hits it. It's smooth, right? Your arm hits it. Like my arm hits the freaking taillight and then it just shatters. Like oh yeah, my arm hits it and there's so much force from my freaking arm that it just cuts it to pieces on the smooth taillight. Somehow that happens. What?
Can you answer that, doctor?
I can't. By a smooth, no.
All right, next question.
By a smooth rear taillight, you said that is not what you would see at 24 miles per hour, correct?
Objection. Sustained.
As you testified earlier, you've indicated that based on the facts that were presented to you, you don't know what caused those significant scratches on Mr. O'Keefe's right arm.
I do not.
So she has no idea, she says. All right. So, but notice she doesn't say like, yeah, the grass did it. The grass did it. Let's go to examines the hand bruises. She looks at the hand bruises at the 101:20 mark.
Published appropriately.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Dr. Scordivello, you indicated on direct examination that at least one of the bruises from Mr. O'Keefe's right hand could potentially be attributed to an attempt to get IV fluid into the hand. Is that correct?
So what Scordivello had testified that one of these bruises could come from putting an IV into someone's hand, right? Not necessarily punching someone's face, because John's got, look at these wounds on his hand. That's coming from punching someone, obviously. John went down swinging.
Correct.
During the course of your conducting your autopsy, you reviewed records from the Canton Fire Department and EMS, as well as Good Samaritan Hospital. Is that correct?
I did.
And do you recall reviewing records indicating that the IV fluids in this particular case were administered through the tibia and then later through a catheter at the hospital?
Yes, they were administered through intraosseous lines in both legs, shins, and at the hospital, they were administered through a femoral central line. Yes.
Okay, so it didn't come through the hands. So the bruising did not come from that. So what did the bruising on the hands come from? How? Maybe did he have the Colin Albert thing where he put his ball into a fist and landed like that? Like, seriously, bro? Seriously?
And you'd agree that bruising to the backs of hands is also consistent with defensive wounds.
Yes, that's correct.
So bruising to the back of the hand is consistent with defensive wounds. She said in her report that they were inconsistent with defensive wounds. What is going on here with this lady?
There are actually 4 separate distinct bruises outside of the one that you discussed earlier on Mr. O'Keefe's right hand, correct?
Yes, I would say 3, but I can see how you would say 4. 1, 2, 3. That might be 1 together. But yes, I can see how you would say 4.
And you testified yesterday that there was also an injury to Mr. O'Keefe's left hand.
There was a vague contusion on his left hand, correct?
You were asked by Mr. Loughran.
Can we take this down now, Ms. Little?
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's go to the 105:45 mark. Proctor.
You are unmuted.
Shifting gears for a second, you indicated on direct examination that you reviewed some photographs from law enforcement that showed no footprints in the snow. Do you recall that testimony?
I do.
Were those provided to you by Trooper Proctor?
Yes.
Do you have those photographs with you?
No, I don't.
Why is Trooper Proctor giving the medical examiner pictures from the scene showing no footprints in the snow? Why? She's a medical examiner. She examines the body. She doesn't need to see the scene of the crime that Michael Proctor allegedly didn't even go to. Why does she need to see the lack of footprints unless he's trying to get it in her brain? See, there was no funny business here. There's no footprints. See? Yeah, no. This must be a car accident. Think about this as a car accident and only think about it as a car accident. Tunnel vision. That's like that. That was shady. And then we go to this part. He's trying to sway her. That's exactly what he's trying to do.
Thank you. You testified that Mr. O'Keefe had multiple fractures to his skull, but they seem to be originating from a single point of impact on the back of his head. Is that correct?
It appeared so, yes.
Are you reasonably
So he has multiple fractures to the back of his skull, but she says it only came from a single impact?
certain that all of his injuries were the result of a single impact to the back of the head?
It could be.
It could be.
A single impact.
But it also could be multiple impacts, correct?
It could be, yes.
Because as you just
Could-
testified,
oh.
Mr. O'Keefe suffered multiple injuries to the front of his face as well.
Correct.
So it could be. Like, it could be. There's a lot of reasonable doubt here. Yeah, it definitely could be. She's clearly saying that it's a possibility that he got the shit kicked out of him. She won't commit to either one, but she's saying it's a possibility. That is not how this has been sold to us the whole time.
In other words, he could have suffered trauma to the face and then fallen and sustained the injury to the back of the head, correct?
That is possible, yes.
And you testified before the state grand jury that the areas of bruising to the brain were likely due to a fall. Is that correct?
Yes.
In your expert medical opinion, is it possible for someone to get punched in the face hard enough to lose consciousness and fall backward?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
It's possible.
Yeah, it is possible to get punched in the face and fall backwards like that and hit your head. That is possible. She's like saying everything that the defense says that they think happened is possible. All of it. She doesn't rule any of it out. What does she say here at the 113:30 mark? I think this is when Lally gets her back. This idiot.
I'll allow it.
Can you repeat the question?
Hitting the ground specifically could also be a result of the blunt impacts for, as one of the possibilities you testified before, from hitting the ground.
Yes.
Now, you were asked about hitting the ground, specifically hitting concrete. Would that impact injuries to the back of Mr. O'Keefe's head also be consistent with striking his head on frozen ground?
I'm sorry.
So I'll allow it.
Can you repeat the question?
You were asked a question on cross-examination about the laceration and abrasion to the back of Mr. O'Keefe's head being consistent with striking his head on concrete, correct?
Yes.
Would that also be consistent with striking his head on frozen ground?
Could be, yes.
See, I hate that shit. So the laceration in the back of his head could be, could be caused by frozen ground. This is how they sold this shit to the O'Keefes. The ground was frozen, don't you know? Dude, frozen ground is not actually like a fucking, like a layer of ice. It's not like it's not like plexiglass. It's still at the end of the day soil underneath it, and grass, and oh yeah, some light snow. This idea that somehow the lawn of Brian Albert's house has the same texture as the street is just ridiculous. The ground is not completely frozen, and it's not going to cause a 3-inch laceration in the back of his head. It's not an ice rink. Exactly. There's some give. Exactly. At the end of the day, it's soil. Like, are we serious? Like, are we serious right now? Oh, by the way, Benjamin Chu gave me a great, thank you, Kate, for pointing that out. Benjamin Chu said great things about me on his show was it STS he was on the other night, that he found out about this through Turtle Boy. Now he says, I'm risking defamation lawsuit by calling people murderers when they haven't been put on trial and found guilty. Wait till you find, oh, really? Well, first of all, much respect to Benjamin Chu, but he doesn't know the whole story. He also doesn't know that I've been sued for defamation so many times before. Never lost. Nobody knows defamation law like your boy here. I get sued all the time, and all I do is win. I've never lost a defamation lawsuit because I know the limits of the First Amendment. If you believe someone is a murderer, you can call him that, period. That is covered completely by defamation law. The bar for defamation is extremely high. You can call, and it's like, I don't think Jennifer McCabe's a murderer. I know it. She is. She Googled how long to die in cold. It's just a fact. It is an undeniable fact that Rick Green testified to in court, that she Googled how long to die in cold, which means she murdered John O'Keefe. You have to have malice, actual malice, to be found guilty of libel. If you believe that somebody did something and you say it, that is not malicious. You do not have malice. And by the way, if you think that you can just get sued because people called you a murderer without you being found guilty, wait, then Karen Reed is going to be able to sue everyone. You understand that, genius? You understand that, Kate? You're going to be able to sue everyone. That's how it works. People call OJ a murderer. Well, he never was found guilty. Can he just sue everyone? No. Get real. Wake up. I'm the defamation daddy, as people call me. That's my other nickname. Anyway, let's play some more. So there's that. All right. Let's go on to the next. Let's go on to Lucky Loughran. So again, Lucky Loughran, I met him in the hallway when I walked in, shook his hand. I'm like, hey, Lucky, how you doing? Nice to meet you. And he said, nice to meet you too. Lucky's like the nicest guy. And I'll be the first to admit, I had the wrong impression of him at first. I thought he was another guy who wasn't going to talk and say what happened, but he is, great guy. And he really did something brave by telling the truth about what happened here. And he opened himself up to lots of criticism and hate from people who don't matter, but people like Jill Daniels who had nothing but nice things to say about him before. But because he told the truth, he'll be destroyed for that by these people. But when I talked to this dude in August and I called him up and I couldn't believe he was willing to talk to me for 5 minutes, and I wrote it all down because I got photographic memory. And some people will say, Turtle Boy recorded that. First of all, if that's your number one go-to is that Turtle Boy recorded Lucky Loughran as opposed to what Lucky Loughran actually told me, which is horrifying, then you're missing the big point. You're deflecting, right? You're deflecting. All right. And secondly, what you talking about? I ain't been charged with wiretapping Lucky Loughran. What you talking about? I got a great photographic memory. It was a 5-minute conversation. Wasn't that hard, genius? Got it done. But anyway, Lucky Loughran, all Lucky wants to do is plow the roads, man. Let Lucky plow. And when I had that conversation with him, I wrote about it, and he called me the next day. He was nervous as shit. He's like, can you take that down? And he's like, I'm worried I'm going to get fired. I'm like, Lucky, you ain't going to get fired. We're not going to let that happen. We got your back, brother. You're telling the truth. That's actual witness intimidation. What they've tried to do to Lucky Loughran is actual witness intimidation, period. So, anyway. Yeah, and Lucky definitely stood up to Lally. We're going to get to some of that. Let's go to 156, where he explains his ties to the Alberts.
In the case I'm here, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Your last name?
Sure, it's Brian Loughran. It's Loughran.
And where are you from, sir?
Mr. Loughran, I'm going to ask you to keep your voice up as loud as you can, sir.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Maybe put your mouth as close to the mic as you can. Where did you grow up, sir?
Canton, Mass.
Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you lived there?
Well, 35, 36 years.
And did you go to Canton public schools?
Yes.
Now, in the course of living in Canton, were you familiar with the Albert family?
Yes.
Which members of the Albert family were you familiar with?
All of them.
When you say all of them, can you name the ones that you were familiar with?
All of them. I was familiar with Brian.
Brian Albert?
Chris Albert. Brendan Albert. Kevin Albert. And I believe Kathy Albert's the sister, but I'm not 100% sure on her first name.
Okay, those are the siblings that you had contact with and were familiar with?
Yes.
Did you know some better than others?
Yes.
Whom did you know the best?
Chris Albert.
What is the age difference between you and Chris Albert?
I believe we're the same age.
Did you graduate high school with him?
He went to a different high school.
Yes. Graduated at the same time?
Correct.
And with regard to your familiarity with Chris Albert, can you explain to the jury how you became familiar with him and what your relationship with him has been?
I went to school with him, elementary school. We went to middle school. Then he transferred to a Catholic school. Then later in years, I began to work for Chris for D&E Pizza, delivering pizzas.
Okay. And approximately what ages were you when you were delivering pizzas for D&E?
So basically, he could be, there's nothing stopping him from being roast beef Ronnie and just coming out and fuck you, Turtle Boy, you bullies with fucking cameras, blah, 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 just being a jerk. But no, he wanted to tell the truth. He wanted to tell the truth. I don't think Chris Albert's going to be making his mediocre chicken parm for him anymore, but that's okay because it's mediocre to begin with. And yeah, so this just establishes this guy has every reason to cover for the McAlberts and no reason to cover for Kara Reed at all. And he's up here as a lifelong townie, works for the town of Canton, and he's going to tell the world. He was happy to tell the world what he saw that night, that morning, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So now he named his truck Frankentruck, and let's hear about Frankentruck.
from the
windshield straight out.
All right. And what, if any, lighting do you have on Franken truck?
We have marking lights. We have 2 plow lights that are situated at the corners of the trucks, and it's up high. Illuminates very well. It's very well seen.
Okay. And with the extra set of lighting that you just described, how far can you see off to the sides, in front of you, and directly in front of you?
Probably 5 feet on the sides.
Well, you already testified to that, 5 feet straight up.
Yeah.
But what about the sides going forward?
It's it's hard to decide to put into words, but I can see a real long distance. That visibility is fine. It is extremely. If you gave me probably 5, 10 feet, 15 feet out, maybe even further.
Okay. And with regard to the lighting, how much light does that give off?
Enormous amounts. It's
Enormous.
Almost driving with the spotlight.
And
Almost
with regard to the air
driving with the
ride
spotlight.
seats, what action did you take with those that particular night?
I raised it so that the bottom of my knees would hit the steering wheel.
And
It was up
what, if any,
high.
obstructions, I should say,
Oh,
were
it was
in
up
front of you
high.
that would prevent you from seeing what's in front of you or to the side?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Now, do you have a specific route assigned to you?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
Could you describe that route?
That establishes, man, that he makes it very clear. I could see everything. Everything. And he comes down. Microdots did an amazing video on this. I want to show you here. Okay. A recreation video. Then let me show you what it's called. What Lucky would have seen. I mean, look at that shit. There's no, come on. Fairview, 34 Fairview. I mean, he would have been right there. The lights would have been, especially because the road curves to the left. See how the road curves to the left? So if your headlights are straight and that's like right at the curve, it's going to be right on it. It's right there. There's no obstructions. It's as flat as you can get. Right there. No way. It's a 6-foot black blob, as Julie Albert called it. And like, look at this. No way. Again, so thank you, Microdots. All right, you guys get the point. But that's what Lucky would have seen. So let's go back to this. Next timestamp we have here talking about this 21050. Speaking of Microdots.
Very first time you passed it, would it have been on your right or your left?
It would have been on my right.
It would have been on the right.
What section of the road were you plowing at that point?
The middle of the road.
Why is that?
I start in the middle and I angle right with the plow.
Now, I want to direct your attention to when you were, your truck was essentially perpendicular to the driveway. You see the driveway in Exhibit 66?
Yes, I do.
When you were perpendicular to the driveway, where were your headlights pointed?
In front of me. In front of the truck.
I'm sorry?
In front of the truck.
And what were you able to see of the front lawn of the Albert residence that very first time you passed?
I was able to see the entire front lawn.
And about what time was it that you first passed?
Oh, there he is.
34 Fairview Road.
About 2:45.
2:45.
Now, as you continued along past the driveway, did you continue to have all of those headlights on in front of you?
Yes.
And as you continued along, what were you able to see of that front lawn? How much of it?
A very large portion, almost to the front steps.
And now, when you're plowing, where is your attention focused, sir?
My attention's focused in front of me and then to the sides.
Why would your attention be focused to the sides?
I am trying to be aware of any side traffic, any pedestrians, and God forbid, any animals.
God.
And when
Is that not the best line? Is that not? What a nice guy. Looking for pedestrians and God forbid any animals. Oh, what a nice guy. What a nice guy. I love God forbid. Oh, I got to hear that one more time.
You were
Steps.
And now, when you're plowing, where is your attention focused, sir?
My attention's focused in front of me and then to the sides.
Why would your attention be focused to the sides?
I am trying to be aware of any side traffic, any pedestrians, and God forbid, any animals.
God forbid. I love it. I love it. What's not to like about this guy? He cares about everything. He looks, but the bigger point here is that he looks to the side. He's not just looking at the road in front of him. He does look to the side because shit comes out and comes at you, you know?
And when you were passing the Albert residence, as you pass every home, what attention do you pay to the sides of the road and the lawns that are adjacent to the road?
I'm, again, making sure that there are no animals, no pedestrians, and making sure no one's coming out of their driveways, not expecting to see me.
And with regard to Exhibit 66, do you see the flagpole there?
Yes.
Is that something you had seen previously?
Yes.
And when you made that first pass by that residence at 2:45 in the morning, sir, with your headlights on, what, if anything, did you see on the front lawn in the area of the flagpole?
Nothing.
I saw nothing.
Nothing.
If there had been a 6'2", 200-pound man lying in the snow there, would you have seen it?
Objection.
Sustained.
Why is that sustained? Whoa, I just lost it. I lost the whole thing. I got to bring that back up. But he goes, if you had seen, if there had been a body there on the front lawn, would you have seen it? And he says, objection. Like, why doesn't, because that's what they always say. They go, well, maybe he didn't see it. And so he asks him just to be like, yeah, okay, well, maybe you didn't see it. Would you have seen it? Yup. But objection. Lally hates when the truth comes out here. He hates it.
And what street does that intersect with?
That intersects with Chapman Street.
We have the previous exhibit put back up with the court's permission.
Sure.
Down the bottom,
A left.
Would be on your right or your left?
On my left. No, I did not.
Why?
Because I was being courteous to the Albert family.
Oh, no. So here's this part. Hold on.
When you're about to make the second pass?
Objection.
Sustained as continued.
Sure, I'm sorry. What time was it, to your best estimate, in terms of when you would have approached Fairview and Cedar Crest again?
3:15 to 3:30.
All right. Now,
all right. So Lucky does one pass at 2:45, then does his loop around, comes back between 3:15 and 3:30. He says he would have gotten there the second time. And what does he see? So the first time he comes around, there's nobody. And if there's nobody there at 2:30, that means Kearney could not have left him there at 12:30. That testimony aligns with all of the McAlberts who didn't see a body there either on the way out. Except there's just one big difference between them, right? McAlberts claim they weren't looking. They didn't look in that. They all have an excuse about why they weren't looking. But Lucky was looking. He specifically says, I was looking and I did not see anything. I was looking.
When you approach that intersection again, are you approaching it such that Fairview would be on your left or your right this time?
On my left.
Same as last time.
Correct.
What do you do when you approach Cedar Crest? I'm sorry, when you approach Fairview and it's on your left?
At that point, I have an option. I can go to the end of Cedar Crest, or I can turn around at a street, depending on how much snow I have on Fairview.
And with regard to the decision you made regarding that choice, what decision did you make on January 29th?
Went all the way to the end.
Went all the way to the end of Cedar Crest?
Correct.
Same thing you did the first time?
Correct.
And then you come back up?
Correct.
Is Fairview on your right or your left at that time?
It would be on my right.
And did you take that right?
Yes, I did.
Tell us.
By the flagpole.
And why was that unusual?
The Albert Ford edge on the side of.
Here's
Fairview on your right or your
here's
left
the
at
most
that
important
time?
part.
It would be on my right.
The Ford
And
edge.
Did you take that right?
Yes, I did.
What, if anything unusual, did you see at that point?
At that point, I saw a Ford edge on the side of the road.
Ford
Where was
edge.
it parked on the side of the road?
In front of the Albert's house.
Where in front of the Albert's house?
By the flagpole.
And why was that unusual?
The Alberts never had cars that were parked out front, and if it just stuck out as weird.
Now, what are the snow conditions like at that point? This is now, I think you said about 3:15 to 3:30.
It's starting to accumulate a lot quicker than what it was previous.
And what policies does the DPW have regarding cars parked in the street during a blizzard where there's plowing to be done?
We are to notify the supervisor. At that point, he will make a phone call to the police, and depending on if they can have the resident move it, it gets moved. If not, it gets towed.
And with regard to that policy, did you comply with that policy in those early morning hours?
No, I did not.
Why?
Because I was being courteous to the Albert family.
It's just when you couldn't like him more. Just when you couldn't like him more. So you couldn't like him more. So you saw a car parked in an area where you're not supposed to be parked during a snowstorm. And it was unusual. It was a Ford Edge. And why didn't you call it in and have the car towed? Because I was trying to be courteous to the Albert family. What a nice fucking guy. Like, he's not going to kill your dog and he's not going to bust your chops if you're illegally parked, because he knows who you are and he's trying to do the Alberts a favor. Like, that's how much, like, that just goes right into the thing again, where if anything, he would be biased towards the McAlberts, but he's not. He's telling the truth.
Now, once you saw the Ford Edge parked on the side of the road near that flagpole, what did you do?
I had to go around the vehicle and as to not hit the vehicle.
All right, and probably obvious, but as you're approaching the vehicle, was it faced in the same direction that you were traveling?
Yes.
And so you're going around to the left or the right of the vehicle?
Left.
And once, as you were approaching that vehicle, what were you able to see on the right side of that vehicle, but the lawn side?
Yes.
Did you see anything on the front lawn at that time?
Objection.
I'll allow it. Did you see anything?
No.
Okay, so the Ford Edge is there. He sees it parked there, and there's nobody on the front lawn, right? So where the fuck's the body? Well, I think what a lot of us suspect is that that Ford Edge was parked there as a way. There was no, like, some people think they brought the body out through the garage. No, the Ford Edge was just being used and to prevent, hopefully, the plow from coming down the street. Because they know, okay, Lucky plows the street. He's not going to come down there. There's a car parked out there, right? And also, it can be used as a way as a shield of sorts, right? If they're going to pull the body out there, bring him out the gate real quick, get him out there. I think Microdots did another video on this. Let me see if I got this video of how they think that the video got out there. Check this out. Let's check out this Microdots video. God bless Microdots. This is the inside of Fairview Road, by the way. This is the inside of the house, and if you haven't seen it. So this is the road. This is the door they probably would have gone in to get into the house. And you'd be confronted with the living room there that leads to the sunroom. The kitchen is over here. This is the dining room. You'd go over here. This is the main doorway. And there's the stairs to go upstairs. And then down here, the basement. So come down here, and then, oh, there's a weight bench down there. So imagine a fight broke out.
Yo, your advantage, boys. I will beat all your asses. I promise you, I will fuck you all up.
Then this
Pull up, bitch.
So let's suppose that somebody was killed in that basement and they want to get the body onto the front lawn. What would they do? Well, there's a bulkhead right there. You can open that up and they have a big backyard. Oh, and then there's a fence with a gate.
Sometimes it hurts instead. Sometimes it lasts and loves, but sometimes it hurts instead.
Okay. But you guys got, Microdots gave us a tease. That would, of course, lead from here. You would have a direct shot to the flagpole. If a Ford Edge was parked right by the flagpole, it would prevent people, nosy neighbors, from seeing them quickly bringing John O'Keefe's body out there, placing it, and running back in. Right? So that's interesting. All right, now back to this.
Lights are still on.
Correct.
All right, now, once you pass the vehicle, did anything attract your attention at all?
No.
All right, where do you go?
I go up to the end of Fairview and do the same process, take a left on Chapman and back down Chapman and take a left into Fairview again.
Once you come back down Fairview, do you pass the Albert residence again?
Correct.
Was there that car that you saw that moved from when you passed it the first time?
No.
No.
Were
The
you
car
able to
was
see
still
the
there.
front lawn of the Alberts in front of you? As you were coming down Fairview, towards Cedar Crest.
Not as much as the first time because the car blocked the view.
All right. Now,
The car
After
blocked
that,
the view.
How long did it take you before you came back to that area to plow again?
About 3 hours.
Do you recall about what time it was that you wound up back on?
So this is where Lucky gets, and the trolls have jumped all over this, and Lally jumped all over too. He says he next comes back 3 hours later. What time did he say he went through? The second time when he saw the Ford Edge, 3:15 to 3:30. He said, right? So what's 3 hours after that? 6:15 to 6:30, right? That's accurate. But he says the wrong time here. Listen to this.
On Fairview?
I don't honestly recall what specific time.
Sure. Approximately, it was 3:15 to 3:30. That second time, what would be your best estimate of the time when you came back?
I would say if I had to say, it would have been 5:30 up Fairview, and came back down, and then at that point I wasn't able to go further than Carriage Lane.
Okay, and
so 5:30 says, but it's actually 6:30, right? Maybe he got his times messed up. I don't know, but it would be impossible if he came back at 5:30. He would be able to get through because the first responders were not there yet. But he did say 3 hours later, which is actually 6:30.
When you say that you went up Fairview and came back down, you initially went from which side of Fairview?
Right side.
What would that be, the right side? I'm sorry. Would it be the Cedar Crest side or the...
It would have been Cedar Crest side.
Coming from Cedar Crest, and then you went up Fairview, came back down?
Came back down. As I'm going up, I am actually seeing first responders. And at that point, as I'm coming back down, the road's blocked at that point.
Okay. And when the road was blocked, what, if any, plowing were you able to do after that on Fairview?
I was able to go as far as Carriage Lane and then turn around.
Okay. And then I imagine it was several hours before you could plow again?
Before I could plow Fairview to the end of Cedar Crest, yes.
All right. Now,
All right. So when I first found out about this Ford Edge, right, I had heard rumblings about it. I had not read PI Paul Mikowski's report, Karen Reed's PI, but I knew that somebody, had must have plowed that road. And I did see Michael Proctor's report where he said that nobody plowed Fairview Road. And I said, that doesn't make any sense. So that's why in June I went down and I demanded to speak to Michael Trotta, and I made that video inside. He's a DPW director, and I wanted to talk to him about who plowed the roads, and he wasn't there. And so I made a video saying, I'll be back. You guys haven't seen the last of me. And then they turned that into witness intimidation because they said I was talking about the McAlberts when I was really talking about the DPW director. So I told him I'd be back. And I did. And I eventually asked him about Lucky, and he confirmed that, yeah, Lucky. And so I tracked down Lucky, and I called him one day in August, and I was in Truro. I called him up, and he answered the phone, and he's talked to me for 5 minutes, and he gave me a good interview. If you guys haven't seen the interview, like I'll show you luckily, because I have a photographic memory, which I know pisses a lot of people off, but there ain't shit you can do about it. This is, so I transcribed it, and I said, did they say you couldn't speak with police? Nope. They said, as long as the police have ordered the testimony, I can speak, but it's got to be attached to a subpoena or a badge. I talked to the FBI once and to private investigators twice. What? That was news to me. I'm like, the FBI tracked this guy down? They're in trouble. They're in trouble. Did they sign anything? No, there was an affidavit, but they were given the route, how I did the route, when I did the route, when I go plow the route. They took me to Fairview and I showed them what I did. Did they tell them when you went by the house that there was no body? Yes. What time did you go? 2:33, somewhere around then. The FBI says they have GPS at 2:30 going by that house. So the FBI spoke to him in May of 2023. He goes, they do have GPS. When did you talk to the FBI? About a week after my wife passed away. Sorry about your wife. I appreciate that. Did you happen to see any cars parked in front of the house? There was one. I go, was it Brian Albert's Ford Edge by any chance? And he said, no, it was a Ford Edge, but it wasn't Brian's, because Brian has a dark colored Ford Edge. And I'm told Colin Albert is a light colored Ford Edge. And I believe Kevin Albert does as well. So there's that. I wasn't trying to attack you in that blog, but what happened in that house is so messed up. Not only is an innocent person being blamed, but John O'Keefe will never get justice as long as this sham continues. Right. You know, they go, you went there at 2:30. You didn't see a body. Game over. Did you ever speak with Michael Proctor? No. Have they reached out to you and said not to talk? Did they put that in writing? Yes. He was told not to talk. So, you know, basically, like the police, there's Brian Albert's Fort Edge. The police said that they would, Lucky Loughran said that he would talk to police. He would gladly do it. And so then 2 days later, the state police go and they finally have an interest. And by the way, here's part 94 of the Canton Cover Up series. Another good one you should read. Again, it has Proctor's interview with Trotta where he says that trucks only concentrate on major roadways in Canton and they would not go down Fairview Road. So Michael Proctor lied. And a company called By the Yard would do it at 3:30. And then I look up By the Yard. By the Yard did not become incorporated. It's owned by a guy named Calvin Seaman, whose niece, Danielle Seaman, is best friends with Allie McCabe. Best friends. And Colin Albert. And this company was not incorporated until April 25th, 2023, a week after I started writing about this. They suddenly decided to incorporate, and we're told that by Michael Proctor that this company actually plows Fairview Road, not Lucky Loughran. This guy, Seaman, who we control, who is a McAlbert, we can trust him. We'll just say he never went down the road. Problem solved. I do Fairview Road, not Lucky Loughran. Don't talk to Lucky Loughran because he might tell the truth. We don't want that. And this, yeah, there's that guy. Okay. And yeah, I mean, the Siemens all support the McAlberts, all that shit. So check out part 94 of the Canton Cover Up series for more on that. Now, later on, 2 days after my interview with Lucky Loughran, Michael Proctor and Yuri Bukaki go down and they interview. They decide that they're going to finally do their job and interview Lucky Loughran. Not because they want the truth, but because they saw the words FBI and they shit their pants. That's what it comes down to. So let's go and read this. Some parts of this interview. Proctor's like, so you were salting and sanding or just plowing? Plowing. Is there anybody else with you? The subcontractors were called in at 3:30. They have the same routes. Okay. But I went down. Is this your assigned area, Fairview Road? Yes. Okay. Okay. And then, all right. So Bukaki asks, you remember this snowstorm? Is it there as a reason behind it? Like, what's the reason behind this? You remembering this day? Probably shit dick. Because, there was a murder that day in Canton and it was all over the news. That might have something to do with it. What a fucking idiot this guy is, huh? Fucking loser. Yeah, there's a lot of snow. And so, was there a vehicle out there? Yeah, around 3 a.m. Correct. So he told me 3 a.m. He said on the stand 3:15. Fuck's the difference? There's a fucking vehicle out there. That's the big thing. There's a Ford Edge parked out there. And he says it was a Ford Edge. He tells Bukaki. Right? He's like, it was just sitting there. How many spots up was it? Like telling us was that the only time you saw the Ford Edge? So yes. So on your second pass, I mean, it was there for a significant period of time. It was there for at least an hour into the storm. It wasn't enough that it required me to have it removed. There wasn't a lot of snow on the ground at the time, so I could just go around it. Did you see anything out of the ordinary? Obstructing, your initial passes? No. You've been asked about this, but it's not a secret why I'm asking you these questions. If you did see a body in the roadway, would you call it in? Yes, absolutely. Did you see anything else suspicious? No, just the Ford Edge. Did you see anything? I saw no body. My truck is high enough with the lights that I would have seen a body. I can't answer to say if there was something obstructing me. I didn't see anything obstructing me. Like they're trying to catch him up on something. And he's like, bro, there was nothing obstructing me. And there was no body there. And I would have seen a body had a body been there. Done. And then they start asking him, instead of asking him about that Ford Edge, like that should be it. That should be the all points bulletin. Like there's no body at 2:30 and then a Ford Edge is there and then a body showed up. Fuck. We got a dead cop in our hands. We got to go find who's driving this Ford Edge. Right? That's what they should be focusing on. Instead, they ask him about Turtle Boy. So there's obviously there's a publication about an interview, right? Yep. Who published that interview? I believe it's Aidan or Turtle Boy. Are you familiar with this platform and the blogging he does? Yes. Okay. When's the last time you spoke to him? Monday or Tuesday? It's Monday. Yeah. How'd you guys communicate? He called me on your phone. No, he called me on the fucking roll it. Like, what else would he call me on besides the phone, dipshit? Do you have your cell phone with you? Yes. Can you open it up to show us? What does it matter, the date in which I called him? Like, why? You don't have him on your phone? No. In your call logs, you don't have him calling you? I guess he deletes his... Wait. I delete any calls that come in. I keep it for a month and I delete it. All right, but Monday was not a month ago. Correct. So why don't you, who do you think that that phone number is on your phone? I've got 3 days worth of phone calls on my phone right now, but you said every month you delete it. I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. Can we talk about the Ford Edge? All right. Do you remember the phone number? It was a 401 number, Rhode Island 401. Yeah. And it didn't come up with his name or where like the town that number originates from. You see that? Because he knows that 401 is a Rhode Island telephone number. And then if I called from a Rhode Island telephone number and I recorded it, then I would not be, Rhode Island's a one-party consent state, and I would not be charged with wiretapping. And that's what they're getting at here. He's trying to catch me on a charge. That's all this is. What were you doing when he called? Jerking off. Like, what does it matter what he was doing when he was called? Did he introduce himself? What kind of questions was he asking you? Oh my God. Good questions. Unlike the ones you guys are asking. Who have you been interviewed by? The FBI. Okay. So how is it possible that he has a transcript of your interview and he's actually misrepresenting who drove you around and who did what? Did he tell you the interview was recorded? Oh, I see what he's getting at here. How do you think he got your phone number? Proctor asks. Or did he say how he got your phone number? Who gives a shit how he got his phone number, Proctor? I got it. It doesn't matter how I got it. I got it. How about you get his phone number? You're the fucking cop. I mean, it just goes on and on. So this shows, and he goes, at your house, and the FBI also went to your house? Correct. So the only time you traveled the route was with the private investigators. Correct. Okay. Did you see a body? No. At any point of the night, did you see anybody bringing a body out there, placing it on top of the snow or digging it up in the snow and covering the body in the snow? No, dipshit. Any blood trails? No. It's like, oh, it's because he needed to witness that. You didn't hit the body, right? Like they're trying to pin it on him. I would have known if I hit a body. At any point, did you hit anything? I hit a basketball net that was portable on the side of the road. It actually hit my tarp that is on top. So a one of those basketball hoops with it overhangs on the side of the street, sitting on whatever, a driveway, and overhangs the street. And his Frankenstein is tall, and he clips the net. It doesn't like destroy doesn't like drive into it. Clips the top. So you clip something. You see what they're getting at here, right? Your plow didn't hit it? No, just the top. AKA, you're so bad, huh? What about the Ford Edge? It was tan colored. But you're colorblind. I am, but I can see light versus dark. It was not a whiteout conditions. It was not blinding. I could see in front of me. Oh my God. There's substantial rumors, but we want to get to the bottom of everything. Yeah, sure you do. There's unsubstantial rumors, but we want to get to the bottom of everything. There's unsubstantiated rumors right now that we have learned that somebody recorded you having this conversation, or something prior to having Aidan call you recorded a conversation with you. Oh my God. It's like, that's all they care about. The transcript, you said you saw the transcript, which Aidan published. Are those questions, to the best of your knowledge, are those in the same order chronologically that he asked you? I mean, this is just that this is their concern. They find out about this Ford Edge. This is how I knew how crooked these cops are. That they were just like, they hear about this murder. Like, they should, if they were legitimate cops, they would hear this and be like, we got to find that fucking Ford Edge, dude. Whoever was driving that Ford Edge saw some shit and was involved in killing a cop. And we got to get out there. We got to fucking find this Ford Edge. Holy shit. Thank you, Turtle Boy, for breaking this story. We got to get to the bottom of this. But they're not real cops. They're corrupt cops. So instead of doing that, they're like, how can we pin Turtle Boy? How can we charge Turtle Boy with a crime here? This is how I knew they were going to try to get me. When I read this thing, I'm like, they're going to try to have me arrested on some shit, aren't they? I knew it. Okay. So the Ford Edge, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So this is why, like, to me, the Ford Edge is the most important thing in this whole drama, because whoever is driving that Ford Edge was involved in murdering John O'Keefe, and 3 members of the Albert family drive a Ford Edge. And that was why when 2 months later, fast forward, the fugitive unit comes to my house and they arrest me in front of my kid's school bus, and they drag me down to Stoughton District Court to be arraigned on a whole bunch of felonies. And every asshole is inside that courtroom thinking they got the best of me. And I don't give a shit, because I'm never, ever going to be convicted of any of this shit. I can't wait to destroy these people in court, destroy them, because that's what I do to people who kill cops. I destroy them, period. There will be no mercy, no amnesty. We would just destroy them. That's all we're going to do. So when I got dragged down here, I got an hour and a half in the car right down to think about what I'm going to say during my 10-second perp walk. I know there's going to be media there. I'm sure they put this out to the media. I know this is a setup. I know what they're doing here. I got 10 seconds. You know what I'm going to do? I'm thinking in my head, they've probably spent so much time on this investigation into me, and they haven't spent an ounce of time into finding out who's driving that Ford Edge. I'm going to talk about the Ford Edge. That's what this was about.
Do you have anything to say to the charges? What do you have to say? I hope they find that Ford Edge that was parked outside. We got you.
Go to hell. Fuck you. Oh, there's Twisted Tragedies with her pajama pants trying to monetize my arrest. Oh, God. What an absolute trash bag she is, huh? Oh, thank God. Have I ever been more right about a person than her? Have I ever been more right about a person than her? When a lot of turtle riders were like, oh yeah, Twisted Tragedies is great. I'm like, bro, she's fucking a grifter, dude. Grifter. Watch out for that one. Check out all the GoFundMe scams she's got. All of them. She got no job. She never had a job before. Doesn't work. Oh, she did have a job. She used to be a stripper. But, you know, you ain't going to make much money looking like that. So that's why I wanted to do it. And then on the way out of court, the media asked me, I don't know if it was Ted Daniel, somebody asked me, but you mentioned the Ford Edge. What's that about? Well, I'd love to tell you about it. And now the whole world knows about it. So there's that. So that's why I mentioned the Ford Edge on that day. Okay, let's get back to Lucky. And then we'll do some donos.
I'd like to direct your attention to February 15th of 2022. We were approached by an investigator who wanted to ask you questions about what you had seen and done. Just a couple questions, Mr. Loughran.
Sure.
At any point in 2022, were you ever approached by any police investigators, sir?
No.
When was the first time that you were approached by the state police in this case? Do you recall?
I don't recall the actual date, but I do know.
Year?
Yes.
What year was that?
2023.
That's an important question that he asked there. The state police, you plowed the road and the police didn't look for you. You're like the most important witness, bro. And they didn't look for you. And in their closing arguments, I guarantee you that Alan Jackson is going to point out that, bro, they didn't talk to the plow driver, but they talked to Marietta. They drove to Pembroke to talk to Marietta Sullivan and Laura Sullivan about some incident in Aruba in which two bitches were cunty to each other. That's it. That's it. That was such an important question to ask, I thought, that they never asked. So then we get to the Lally cross-examination. Let me get a drink of water real quick. Hold on. Yeah, the Jackson is doing the closing. I do know that as a fact. Okay. All right. Let's play some more.
And do you recall the name of the investigator that approached you?
Mike Proctor and Sergeant, and I can't pronounce his name. I don't want to.
If I said Buchanan, would that ring a bell?
Yes, it is.
I don't want to. But you didn't want to say, I don't want to pull a Julie Albert and say Bukaki. Oh, I thought that was a great moment. I love that part. Okay. Let's jump to that. Let's see. 229. Adam Lally, for the first time in this trial, showed some personality, but it was not good. It was not good personality. Lucky was an extremely likable person, and so were the two that followed him. And bullying Lucky Loughran and two elderly experts who are liked by a lot of people is not the flex that Adam Lally seems to think it was.
And you said in a statement to him at that time that you would have seen a body on the front lawn or the sidewalk. Is that right?
Correct.
Now, are you aware that there is no sidewalk on the same side of the street as 34 Fairview Road?
Correct.
Now, you mentioned some familiarity with the Alberts and with the Albert resident. Are there other people on that route that you're familiar with as far as where they live?
Like, that's the best you got, Lally? That's the best you got? There's no sidewalk? Well, you said that there was a sidewalk. Well, there's actually a sidewalk across the street, but okay, you got him, Lally. You really got him. That's what you took. That's the best that you could have. This guy's not honest because there's actually a sidewalk on the other side of the street, bro. Bro, that ain't going to play the way you think it is with the jury, my dude. You liar. Let's start 2:30, 30 seconds. I got next.
For cars coming out of the driveway, cars coming in the opposite direction, people walking, is that correct?
Correct.
And you're trying to look for those objects so that you make sure that you don't strike them or hit them or anything like that, correct?
Correct.
And on February 15th, 2022, when you had this meeting with Paul, you told him about 3:30 or 4 a.m. Is when you saw this Ford Edge on Cedar Woods, correct?
Correct.
Now, in fact, when you first spoke to this individual named Paul, you didn't tell him it was a Ford Edge, correct?
Nope. I told him it was a Ford Edge.
You didn't tell him first that it was a small SUV?
Nope. Told him it was a Ford Edge.
You remember?
Lally thought he was slicking. Well, you didn't tell him it was a Ford Edge, did you? He's like, no, I did. Paul Mikowski is Karen Reed's PI that got to Lucky first to question him. No, told him it was a Ford Edge.
Remember at any time Paul taking you on the parking lot and showing you different vehicles and asking you if those vehicles matched what vehicle you saw?
No. He wanted to make sure that what I was telling him was accurate. So he showed me what was a Ford Edge, but I had already told him it was a Ford Edge.
So we brought you out to the parking lot.
So Lally's trying to get him to say, and this is what Tully said, that no, this guy was coached to say it was a Ford Edge, that the PI, remember, we'll play the Tully part where Tully says, we didn't think he was credible because he was coached to say it was a Ford Edge. He was shown a Ford Edge and said, did it look like that? And he's like, yeah. He's like, no. He's correcting this. He goes, no. I told them it was a Ford Edge. And then to kind of double check and reassure, they went and they pointed out a Ford Edge to me. And they said, does it like that? He goes, yep. I told you it's a Ford Edge, right? Like Lally thought that they were going to get him to admit to some shit here. He's like, no.
Parking lot at the skating rink that you were meeting at specifically showed you a Ford Edge and asked you if that was a vehicle.
Correct.
Now, do you know sort of the difference between if you were to see a Ford Edge at nighttime in a snowstorm, the difference between a Ford Edge and a Jeep Cherokee?
Yes.
What's the difference?
The taillights in the back.
What about it?
Ford Edges are more round. The whole back facade is a little bit more round. A Jeep Cherokee are more square.
Now,
like, bro, don't ever I teach your kids to learn about something as much as Lucky Loughran knows about Ford Edges. Do not, I told you, the more they push on this guy, the more he's like, no, motherfucker, it was a Ford Edge. You want to know how I know it was a Ford Edge? Let's talk about taillight. You don't think I know the difference between a Ford Edge and a Jeep Grand Cherokee? At least you could have said a Ford Edge and a Nissan Murano, because they kind of look a little bit more similar than a Ford Edge and a Grand Cherokee. Those don't look alike at all. Like the LX, honestly, the LX RX 350 is kind of in the same class as a Ford Edge. A Ford Edge is what, in between the size of an Escape and an Explorer, I want to say, right? So it's like it's not the size of a Nissan Pathfinder, but it's not a Nissan Rogue. It's the Nissan Murano. It's in between, right? That's what a Ford Edge is. He's like, I know a fucking Ford Edge, motherfucker. I know it. It's much different from a Ford Edge, but it's the mid, like I'm saying, the Murano is like between a Rogue and a Pathfinder. And an Edge is, I want to say, I could be wrong, it's in between an Escape and an Explorer, right? I don't fucking know. I don't know all my brands of cars, but you get the point here. This dude knows a Ford Edge. He knows it well. It's a mid-size SUV. Exactly. Right. Anyway. Yeah, the Expedition. Well, the Expedition is one above that. That's like the fucking Escalade of Fords, right? That's like the Chevy Tahoes or the LX 570, right? It's the biggest one they make, I believe. Anyway, so there's that. So let's play the Tully interview. I got the Tully interview queued up here. I got all sorts of timestamps tonight ready to go. Let me pull up the Tully one. Oh, this little human penis. He looks like a freshly circumcised penis, this guy, I'm telling you. Let's listen to what Tully talks about, why he didn't take Lucky Loughran seriously, even after listening to the interview. So we're at 3:11:50. This guy, he is the most steadfast liar of them all. He is not shook.
From the first arc to the second arc. Just that, right?
I'm saying the device moved from the first arc to the second arc, yes.
And it would be impossible to do that in 4,000, correct?
A cell phone, yes.
You did, one last issue, and I'm gonna deviate from the cell tower stuff. You got information during the course of your investigation that an eyewitness placed a Ford Edge in front of 34 Fairview in the early morning hours of January 29, 2022, correct?
I'm familiar with that.
As a supervising investigator, by the way, you're familiar with the fact that the eyewitness placed that Ford Edge sorry, see if I can start that over. The eyewitness indicated that the Ford Edge was placed there sometime between 2:30 in the morning and 3:30 in the morning, correct?
I'm familiar with that.
All right. As a supervising investigator, did you do anything to investigate the circumstances of that Ford Edge being placed in front of 34 Fairview sometime between 2:30 and 3:30 in the morning?
Yes.
What did you do?
Well, we determined the veracity of that statement, and we want to make sure that the person who gave it is consistent and accurate and had a good vantage point of it. I have concerns about...
you satisfied with that?
No.
Why not?
Well, the person has given the statement multiple times, and it appears to have changed over those times.
What has changed? So Lucky tells him this bombshell about a Ford Edge parked out front, and they're like, so did you take him seriously? Nope. Really? But because his story has changed. Jen McCabe's story has changed 1,000 times, but you take her seriously, and she's got something to lose. Lucky has nothing to lose, but you're not going to take him serious. This is how you know there's corruption, because of the Lucky shit. It is the most obvious example of how corrupt these people are, because they did not take this guy seriously. It was on purpose. It's not that they didn't believe him. It's that they didn't like the testimony he gave.
It also appears that the person observed this vehicle from a distance, and also the identification of a Ford Edge seemed highly suggestive the way that I had read the account of it. If I had done that as a police officer, this court would throw out that identification.
No, they wouldn't. He's saying it was suggestive. Oh, Paul Mikowski showed him the Ford Edge and it was suggestive. No, he told them Ford Edge, shit dick. He told them that. His testimony proves that Brian Tully lied here. He lied. It wasn't suggestive at all. It was the opposite of suggestive. It would have been thrown out. He's always talking about would have been thrown out. We couldn't get a warrant. Couldn't even try. No, it would have been thrown out. But I'll get a warrant for Turtle Boy's house. This fucking piece of shit, Brian Tully. I can't wait to see this motherfucker go down. Look at him. He's pure evil. Look at this. Look at this little this freshly circumcised penis. Look at him. Look at it. Doesn't it look like a freshly circumcised little penis? Look at that thing. Just poking out. Fresh from the moil. Look at him. Anyway.
So, did you find out anybody in the Albert family on the Ford Edge?
I don't recall off the top of my head if somebody.
Did you look?
Did you look?
Automobile registration records?
I did not know.
No.
Did you task anybody else to look at automobile registration records?
I believe Trooper Proctor and Sergeant Mechanic had investigated that.
Oh, you
And do you have any idea what that investigation revealed?
I don't.
Did the Alberts own the Ford Edge?
I don't know as I sit here.
They did own the Ford Edge, didn't they?
Objection.
So the objection is sustained.
But nothing was done further that you're aware of to investigate the circumstances of that Ford Edge being seen and placed in front of 34 Fairview, right where the body was found, between 2:30 and 3:30, right?
An investigation into the reliability of that witness was conducted.
So you just decided
They
that
investigated
investigation
Lucky.
is, I didn't believe him.
I didn't believe him.
No.
No?
Yes.
Yeah, we didn't believe him.
That's all I have.
Okay, Mr. Riley, anything?
Just briefly.
I mean, so yeah. So there's that. So back to the video. Back to Lucky now. We'll probably be doing this till midnight. So buckle up, folks. We got a long show. Let's move to the part here about 2:35:20. I think, is this Lally? Lally.
Things on the same route that you were describing, correct?
Correct.
Now, these other people that you talked to in May of 2023, did you tell them at that time that you actually came in around 11:30 p.m. to 12 a.m.?
I don't remember that.
You don't.
Okay. So he keeps talking about these other people you talked to in May of 2023. The other people, which Lally can't say, are the FBI. The FBI that came and talked to him and they wrote their report. And apparently in their report, they said that Lucky told them that he went by at 11:30. And I guess that's a scrivener's error, right? Because Lucky tells he's like, no, I didn't. He looks at the report. He's like, would not have said that. That makes no sense. I didn't get out till 2:30. And it kind of puts Lally in a bind here because what's he going to do? What's he going to tell Lucky? Are you saying that the FBI is lying? Oh, wait, I can't say FBI. I can't. No. So we don't know who this report is. So to the jurors, think about if you're a juror hearing this and you're like, who are you thinking that they're talking about here? Because you can't say FBI and they fuck themselves over here. They can't say FBI. So these investigators you spoke to in May of 2023 that put the wrong time in the report. Thank you. To the jurors, this is the beauty of this. To the jurors, they think it's a Proctor report and they don't trust Proctor because he puts wrong times in reports all the time. I thought this was one of the most unintentionally hilarious and awesome fuck ups as part of this. Because and a lot of you probably were thinking FBI or were thinking Proctor. No, it's FBI. They fucked up the report. The FBI misquoted him. But Lally's in a position now where he can't say to Lucky what he wants to say to Lucky is, are you saying the FBI is lying? He can't say FBI though. He can't say FBI because then he'd be fucking himself over. It's fucking beautiful. This is one of the most unintentionally beautiful things that has happened this entire trial. That the FBI wrote the wrong time in their report. And Lucky's like, I didn't say that. And Lally can't say, are you calling the FBI liars? Because he can't say FBI. And the jury assumes therefore, that it's Proctor up to his usual tricks because Proctor has no more credibility. And a lot of you people are thinking it's Proctor. No, Proctor does. He said May of 2023. Lucky Loughran did not speak with Proctor until August of 2023. And only a real Karen Reed diehard junkie like myself would pick up on that, right? He's talking about the FBI spoke to him in May of 2023. See? And I was actually watching the lawyer, talk about this. And he assumed it was Proctor. No, it's FBI. But Lally's in a position where he can't say FBI. So the jury's going to assume he's talking about Proctor. It's fucking beautiful. Is it not fucking beautiful how badly they fucked this up? They back themselves into a corner because they can't talk about FBI. Then they assume it's Proctor, and Proctor has no credibility because Proctor put the wrong time about what he towed when he towed Karen Reed's car in Dayton, and Proctor just makes Scrivener's errors all the time. Oh, it's fucking beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful. I thought that was one of the most unintentionally awesome things that happened in this whole thing. Okay, next up. Let's go to Lally talking about the black Lexus. Oh, this piece of shit. 240/40. Let's listen to this.
Seeing the car at 1:32 in the morning, with the road being blocked off at 3 or 3:30 in the morning. If the road's blocked off at 6 a.m., then that actually would have been, you saw a car sometime around 5 a.m., correct? Objection.
Sustained.
Sure you didn't see a black Lexus SUV in front of the house at 34 Fairview Road around 5 a.m.?
No.
Lally tries to get him on this. Well, you said you came back at 3 hours later, so that'll be 5:30. Are you sure you didn't see a black Lexus SUV? You see what they're trying to say there? This is what Plevin and them have been trying to say. Karen Reed went back to the scene. The dastardly Karen Reed went back to the scene at 5:30. And then in the voicemail, she says, "Is that you, John?" Instead of "Where are you?" It's very obvious she's saying, "Where are you?" in that, as if she'd be like, "Is that you, John? Is that you?" Carrie, in the rest of her voicemail, she was very careful to make it seem like she didn't know John was dead. But at 5:30, she's like, "Is that you, John? Is that your? I'm talking to your dead body. Is that you, John?" Think how fucking retarded you have to be to believe that shit. But no, he tries to then use that to say, "Well, maybe you went back there and the dastardly Karen Reed was out there with her black Lexus LX." And he's like, "No." He makes it very clear. "No, you dumb shit motherfucker. That was not a black Lexus SUV."
Now, you also
he gets him on this.
You spoke to some troopers in August of 2023, correct?
Correct.
August.
And
See?
August. They have a parking ban in Canton, is that
not May, August.
correct?
Correct.
That goes from November until April?
Correct.
Now, part of your plow route is a road called Tippy Cart, correct?
Correct.
Where is Tippy Cart in relation to Fairview?
It is on top of it's on the right side of Cedar Crest. It's
called
Tippy Cart. It would put it 2 streets before Fairview.
And at some point, when you were plowing on Tippy Cart that night, you actually hit a basketball. Is that right?
Yes.
He was trying to make him seem like a
And
bad
did you
driver.
call that in?
Yes.
So he did. So he's on it.
And as a result of that, what happened with the basketball hoop after that?
Nothing. The point was to make sure I was covered, basically. So I notified my supervisor that I hit the basketball hoop.
And about what time was that you hit the basketball hoop?
I don't recall.
Is it closer to when you started, closer to when you ended?
I don't recall. I don't recall what time.
So you don't recall anything specific about that time, correct?
No, just that I know I hit the basketball net.
And obviously, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth or anything, sir, but you didn't intentionally hit the basketball hoop, correct?
Correct.
But you hit it because you didn't see it, correct?
No, I was attempting to avoid the net by going around it. And the machine had a different size body than what it originally had. And I underestimated when I was going around that I need to be wider.
So you misjudged the distance. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Ouch. Okay. All right. So, then we go to this last part here, the last part about Lex. I'm going to pull David Yanetti's questioning to him on redirect.
Yes, for you.
I'm not asking you to guess, sir. I'm asking
I don't recall exactly what time I hit that net.
Nothing for you.
He's really obsessed with that.
Anything else,
net.
Yannetti?
This is one question. I want to make sure that we understand what's going on.
So no statements, right? Just ask a question.
I always do that. I apologize,
Okay.
Ron. You were asked the question by Mr. Lally. Are you sure you didn't see a black Lexus at around 5 a.m. in front of Fairview? And your answer was no. And my question to you is, does that mean that you're not sure if you saw one or that you didn't see?
Objection.
I'll allow that.
I did not see a Lexus at 5 a.m.
At any point that night while you were plowing,
No,
I see a black Lexus in front of 34th Avenue.
no.
Thank you, sir.
Very briefly.
Dumbass. Okay. I mean, that's the best that they could have. Maybe you saw Karen Reed's car there. That's it. That's it. Okay. Let me read a couple turtle chats here, right? And then we'll go on to our next Marie Russell, and then we'll do Rick Green. These are quicker ones. Lucky was the big one. Okay. Let me read some turtle chats. All right. Chloe, the good girl, sends $25 and says, proud of you, Turtle Boy, free Karen Reed. I want everyone to hear you tell them how much I fucking hate that evil fucking bitch, Jen McCabe. It takes pure evil to leave a man to die alone in freezing temperatures rather than get him the help that he needs and save his life. Then tell the world there was an angry drunk Karen Reed who killed him. Then to befriend the O'Keefe family, burn in hell, you cunt. Fuck you, you fucking goblin skeleton faced bitch. Thank you, Turtle Boy. Rock on, free Karen Reed. Exactly. No matter how much you hate Jen McCabe, I assure you it is not enough. I assure you, your hatred of that woman is well placed. She is fucking evil. She is goddamn evil, and never, ever forget it. And no matter what happens with her legally in the future, she will always be that person. When she goes to the grocery store, when she goes out in public, people will be looking at her. You know what people have? People come up to me in public and ask me to take pictures with them and ask me to sign their book, and they thank me and they buy my fucking lunch dinner without me asking for it. Like, that's what happens to me when I go out, and I've been to jail, right? And I just want to point that out to them. At the end of the day, you've done nothing to affect the public opinion towards me. People know that I'm innocent. People know that Karen Reed's innocent. At the end of the day, people know that Jennifer McCabe is guilty, and they will for the rest of her miserable existence. You cop killing cunt. You cop killing cunt. And I will never stop pushing for justice for John O'Keefe. Ever. 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 We're going to get justice for Karen Reed in a couple days. I'm not even close to done with justice for John O'Keefe. You cunt. Anyway, Beck from Australia sends $10, says, I'm behind on your stream. Do you think the bruise on John's hand could be from Chloe's paw? No. I think he punched somebody in the face. Thank you. We got Bob sends $10 and says, Turtle Boy, does the class know that Lucky Loughran's brother Mike is ironically the chairman of the Canton Select Board? That makes him even more courageous. Yes. And he voted against the police audit. So there's that, which makes him even more legitimate. Correct. Chloe, the good girl, sends 25 and goes, proud of you, Turtle Boy, free Karen Reed. And I want everyone to hear you tell them how much I fucking hate that. Oh, I already got that one. Okay, thank you, Chloe, the good girl. Chris sends 25 and go, no last name. Take a deep breath and think big picture for 1 second. This next few days means everything. Validation of your incredible hard work, simultaneously solidifying the abysmal corruption of Tully, Bukaki, and Proctor abusing their power and putting you in jail. The story is because of you and some sources, but a huge wake up for all the people, free people everywhere. God bless my friend. I can't wait to see real justice for John O'Keefe and for Karen Reed, for Officer O'Keefe and Karen Reed, Chris wrote. So again, you're absolutely right. We're about to have some serious validation. I appreciate that very much. Andrea sends $10 and says, love you from New Jersey, Turtle Boy. You and Melanie Little need to have a spin-off combined show. I'd love to talk to her sometime. Absolutely. Nana Lee sends $10 and says, something I haven't heard asked. John would have knocked or rung on a doorbell. Who answered the door, or did he follow Julie N in? I think he just walked right in. Thank you, Nana. Caesar Ramirez sends $5 and says, Lally questioning Lucky's vision after his testimony was disgusting to witness. Yes, it was. Samantha sends 5 and goes up. If I bartend and there were so many women talking about this case, they'd only found out about the case because of it being televised. They all said the troopers were all conflicting each other and hated Lally for bullying Mr. Green and compared him to tech Santa Claus. Yeah, I call him cell phone Santa. How dare he do that? Correct. Patricia sends $10, says, obsessed with you, doctor. If your phone overheats and stops working during summer months, does it not disable in cold? If he was left outside for a few hours with the sun in a blizzard, wouldn't his phone have disabled or alerted? I'm not entirely sure. Thank you, Patricia. Dean fucking Smith says, let's start a GoFundMe for Lucky. If he loses his job, I'd be the first one to donate. No, they wouldn't dare do that. Lucky is a hardworking guy. He doesn't want your charity. I appreciate that. But he is not in danger of losing his job. Michael Trotta promised me that when I interviewed him. So thank you very much. Karen sends $5 and says, Lally thought the jury would be dazzled by the magnitude of over 60 witnesses he called. His game plan of quantity over quality got shut down methodically by the defense. Bang, bang. Yes, it did, Karen. Appreciate that. Kirsten sends $10, says, I sent you a short video via email. Please check it out. I will later. Thank you. Frank sends $5 and says, I think you're right, turtle fucker. These people are going to get away with murder. The killing of a Boston police officer. OJO deserve better. We'll see. Thank you. Marie sends $5, says, will McAlberts start lying? We'll start trying to flee town. Are they legally allowed to? We'll see. Aaron sends 25 and goes, one thing I can't figure out is why Jen McCabe would claim she butt dialed John O'Keefe at 1 a.m. Why wouldn't it work in her favor if she was calling him at that time? Or is it possible they were trying to locate his phone so it wasn't us? It's a good question. It's a good question, Aaron. Fair question. Jonathan's $5 says, Aidan, looking to run to the old Raynham dog track for a large event. You'll need volunteers, which I'm sure you can get. Okay, I'll look into that. Thank you. Let's see. Lena sends $15 and says, you're awesome, by the way, watching from Vancouver, Canada. And I have a double question. First, how did proctitis know about Karen's medical conditions? And second, I don't know the answer to that one. And has Bev made any errors to support an appeal? Not that I'm aware of. You'd have to talk to a lawyer about that. But she's not going to need an appeal because it's going to be acquitted. So thank you very much, Lena. Linda sends $10 and says, Azget Industries accident reconstruction. She's made several, all short and worth a watch. Okay. She sent me the URL. Okay. Maybe I will bring that up towards the end. Thank you very much for that. Shelly sends $20 and goes, best channel and music vibes on the internet. Can you imagine being the people who bought the Albert's house? I have met her. She's a nice lady. She wasn't happy about the fact that nobody told her that. Thank you. Brian donates $50 and did not leave a comment, but thank you very much, Brian. Laura sends $5. She says, my favorite line was when he asked about solo cups. The DNA lady says, I'm sorry, what? Yeah, I remember that one. That was good. Amy sends $50 and says, hi, been dying to try to meet you and haven't had the chance yet. Thank you tons for just being you. Fight the fight and don't read this part out loud. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Thank you very much, Amy. Appreciate that. Will T sends $20 and says, been following this case since day one. Never had a doubt about Karen being innocent. These government people need to go to jail. Yes, they do. Kate sends 25 and goes, Aidan, I would happily donate a voucher for laser hair removal worth $1,500. Have people bid on it. Proceeds for free Karen Reed. Well, thank you very much, Kate. Well, first of all, Karen Reed's going to be free in a couple days. But I'm not going to lie. I don't know if you guys know, I'm being charged with a shitload of felonies. I could also use it. So maybe we'll do a little free Turtle Boy when this is said and done. Claire sends $5 and says, watching from Northern Ireland. Keep up the good work. God bless. God bless you too, Claire. Samantha sends $5 and says, now that How Long to Die in Cold has been proven, why haven't they arrested Jen McCabe yet? Because who's going to arrest her? Exactly. How's Proctor not been fired yet? Because who's going to fire him? Exactly. Andrea sends $5 and says, party at 34 Fairview. Dogs allowed. Yikes. Thank you. $10 from Seth says, why the Cape ME office? Already short-staffed as testified to today. Wouldn't the ME headquarters in Boston be more appropriate? Boston cop active. Maybe. Yeah, I agree completely. Not entirely sure. Thank you very much. Jessica sends $20, says PACC in Taunton is right next to Dighton. Huge, affordable, lots of parking. Again, I'd have to speak with the owners. Appreciate that. Okay, cool. If anyone else wants to donate to that, Turtle Chat is linked to the top. Got some cash apps here for $ Uncle Turtle Boy. We have, let me read some of these. Maggie sends $5. How long will the jury deliberate, Dr. Turtle? I would say hour and a half tops. That's all they need. They've made their mind up. I'm telling you. Katrina sends $5 and says, can you give an update on Steve Scanlon? Again, people keep asking about Steve Scanlon. I've said it a million times before. There's nothing to talk about. They actually tried indicting me on wiretapping him and failed. So Steve Scanlon's fine. He's the initial whistleblower. Catherine sends $25 and says, where has John O'Keefe's father been? I know. He hasn't been attending much. I wonder why. He was on the defense witness list. I guess he's not being called. Mariana sends 10 and goes, God, I love your vocabulary. You're the bomb. Thank you, Mariana. Angela sends 5 and goes, please make a framed 22 air fresher from my mirror. Okay. Thank you very much. Maybe I'll do that. Frank sends $5 and says, Ja Samba Soul. Okay, Frank. Thank you. Kay sends $10 and says, wow, that was a fast response. Shirts on the way. Oh. Okay. Thank you, Kay. Yeah, because she got back to him fast. Excellent. Jessica sends $10, says, my cousin Vinny is Alan Jackson. They do have very likable demeanor to both of them in a courthouse presence. That's from Jessica. Angela sends 5 and goes, love you. Okay, we already got that one. Okay, cool. Okay, any more turtle chats before we can move on here? Lynn sends $50 and says, do you still believe Higgins will be the first to flip? I don't think anyone's going to flip. Or will the case just go away? I don't think anyone's going to flip. I think Higgins was involved, so he can't flip. $10 from Kelly says, thank God for what you've done to expose these dirty maggots. By the way, what the fuck is up with Mrs. Ed playing It's Raining Men after she helps murder John O'Keefe? She's a sick fuck. Tasha sends $5 and says, at 6:10 on the police dash cam, Lucky's truck on the video. Does defense know this? Good for closing. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, cool. If anyone else wants to donate, click at the link at the top for Turtle Chat or cash at me at $ Uncle Turtle Boy. Let's go on to the next witness, Dr. Marie Russell. These are shorter now. Okay, let's just get Marie Russell is great. This woman was fantastic. And Vinny said she was like not that good. I'm like, Vinny, this is why I can't stand Vinny sometimes.
Doctor, I want to show you a photograph and ask you very quickly, have you seen this before?
Yes.
Is this one of a number of photographs that you reviewed in furtherance of your evaluation of this case?
Yes, it is.
I'd like to just focus your attention on this for just a quick second and ask you, does this accurately reflect the wounds or injuries that you saw on John O'Keefe's right arm in coming to your opinions and conclusions?
Yes, it reflects the injuries that I saw in photographs.
All right. Now, based on your review of all of the data that you've talked about, all of the information that you were given and reviewed, what is your opinion or conclusion about how these injuries were sustained?
I believe that these injuries were sustained by an animal, possibly a large dog, because of the pattern of the injuries.
Could you describe for the jurors, please, on what you based that opinion?
Yes. Well, may I use the?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. There's a number of patterns here.
Done.
There on the upper part of the arm. There's parallel lines.
Okay.
And those were inflicted by either teeth or claw marks. So there's
okay, so these came from teeth or claw marks. Garrett Wing thought they were from teeth, a dog latching in, and then John, a trained dog, he said, would latch in and hold it. There was a really good show on Melanie Little's channel where a guy named Garrett Wing, a dog bite expert, came on and said that a police dog is trained to hold it. Chloe's not a trained police dog. So a dog like Chloe would sink its teeth in, you pull the arm away, causes a scratch like that. A laceration.
A number of patterns that could be teeth or claw mark. And so this is one set right here. This is the one further down, closer to the elbow, is another set of parallel marks. Again, probably most likely from teeth marks. And the reason I say that is, in addition to the parallel marks up here, down here, there's also little punctate, incomplete puncture marks. Here, little round marks right there that were inflicted by the actual point of the tooth.
Yeah.
Okay, that was my question. What relevance does that have to your determination that this was likely caused by an animal?
Yes, and I can explain in a moment the various kinds of wounds that animals can inflict. But going on with the picture first. So then down right at the elbow, there's another different series of marks that again have linear abrasions up where the pointer is, and then down below some punctate, superficial, round, small abrasions, again representing upper and lower teeth, in my opinion. And then there are some irregular wounds down just below the elbow.
Dude, look at this.
And these are all, by the way, on the exterior surface, or what we call what doctors would call the posterior surface.
Like, she can explain exactly what each individual thing was. Trooper Paul can. He's like, yeah, it was probably just the tail light did it all. The tail light somehow caused all that. She's like, okay, this one came from these teeth. This one came from this set of teeth. Blah 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 blah.
The arm, which is the part of the arm that would sustain defensive type wounds. So if someone were to protect themselves.
Objection. So sustain. Next question.
Sure. Doctor, if I can ask another question. Just to clear up what you said a little earlier about something wounds on the, close to the elbow, is it your opinion that both the top teeth and bottom teeth could have created some or all of the injuries on that elbow area?
Yes.
Okay, so
because this is what they always say. Well, what about the bottom teeth? Wouldn't there be puncture marks under the arm too? He's like, no. These can both be caused. I can see this can be top and bottom teeth too. Why?
in other words, instead of the mouth going all the way around the arm, it could have, the top and bottom jaw could have situated itself on this portion that we're seeing, the posterior part of the arm.
Yes. And in this case, the animal did not get a good enough contact.
Objection. Move to strike.
So I'm going to strike that. Ask a different question.
Have you seen contact wounds where the animal, a dog, for instance, gets a very solid purchase on the leg, arm, part of the body?
Yes.
Okay. Is that this or is this something else?
Something else.
Describe that.
Well, an animal inflicts injuries. The type of injury depends in part on the actual type of contact and how much force is applied by that animal, in addition to any relative movement between the animal and the victim in this case. So, for instance, in the law enforcement dog bites, many of...
Objection.
Right. So the nature, is it notice? Is it, what's one word?
May we approach?
Okay.
Okay. Now we're going to fast forward to one more part here on Marie Russell before we get to the Lally grilling. I mean, she's great. She's so charming, this woman. What's not to like about her? She's done hundreds of these before, she says. She's been a cop, a doctor, you name it.
There you are. Yes, thank you. Without getting into any specifics about police canines, does this appear, does the pattern of injuries that you see appear consistent with an animal or a large dog?
Yes.
Yes.
Does the number of injuries that you see here relegated to just the right arm, is that also consistent with an animal or large dog?
Yes, it can be.
Is the direction of the injuries, or the consistency of the direction of the injuries, or the parallel injuries, is that also consistent with an animal or large dog attack?
Yes.
Based on everything that we discussed today, Doctor, is it your opinion, based on a reasonable degree of medical certainty, that these injuries were from an animal attack, possibly a large dog?
Yes.
Yes. She's like,
yes.
No doubt about it. Yes.
That's all I have to sign up.
Like, don't you look how emphatic yes, it was. Yes, I'm an expert. I'm a fucking expert about that. That came from a large dog. End of story. Period. So now Lally comes up, and Lally's got again, this woman was well liked by the jury. You do not want to be seen as a guy, a young whippersnapper bullying this lovely woman who's obviously credentialed just because she's saying things that you don't like that are clearly true. But he goes and does that anyway because he's Lally. That's what Lally does. He fucks up.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
May 17th, 2024.
May 17th of this year, is that right?
2024.
So about 6 weeks after this trial began?
I don't know when the trial began.
Now, as far as who reached out to who?
I reached out to a district attorney that I worked with with the LA coroner's office.
And then somehow that person put you in touch with Mr. Jackson, is that right?
Yes.
And was that also on May 17th?
17th and 18th, yes.
So I'm sorry, 17th or the 18th? Which one was it that you spoke with Mr. Jackson?
I didn't speak to him.
You did not speak to him?
Not speaking, not verbal. There was some email communication.
Okay, so like this is his approach, right? He's going to start off being like, how'd you find out about this? You're just a hired gun for Alan Jackson, right? Like, you must be buddies with Alan Jackson. You're both from California, right? She's like, no, I reached out to someone in the LA coroner's office because I saw the pictures on news and I thought it was suspicious. And I reached out to him and he got me in touch with Alan Jackson. This is his big thing is like, how'd you get here? Unlike Ian Whiffen, who appeared out of fucking nowhere from Alberta, Canada. And he's like trying to sell us his goddamn app, ArtX. That guy is just ended up here randomly. But Marie Russell, how the fuck did they find you? You must be a hired gun. Yeah, she was a Malden, Massachusetts cop. She has ties to Massachusetts. So, next one about the Boston. Oh, this was the best. The Boston Globe shit was the best.
Difficulties. Did you ever express any of those technical difficulties, or hey, I can't see the whole file, or there's other things in here that are listed that I can't look at?
No, I wasn't aware.
And so, with regard to as far as your reaching out or contacts in regard to this case, how did that come about?
I saw an article, I believe it was in the Boston Globe, regarding this case, and I didn't. Initially, I didn't think anything of it. Then I saw an article that indicated that there was some.
I didn't know anything about anything any article indicated. You saw an article in the Boston Globe about this case, is that right?
Yes.
And how did you come upon it? You have a subscription to the Boston Globe?
I did at the time, yes.
Did at the time. What time was this?
In May.
May of 2024?
Yes.
And how long had you had a subscription to the Boston Globe at the time?
How long have you had a subscription to the Boston Globe? This is what we're doing now, Lally. How long have you had it? So you got an email about it? Hey, your subscription? How long is your subscription? Fuck, this is the best that you have, Lally?
That you saw this?
It was either a 6-month subscription or a year. I don't remember.
And that was the first time that you had seen anything about that?
First time I paid attention to anything like that, yes.
Now, again, you had testified here just a couple of days ago, and I asked you questions about this. Is that right?
Yes.
It wasn't in your testimony just a couple of days ago that the subscription was actually for a year or 18 months?
No.
Not 6 months a year.
So only one person can talk at a time. So was that your testimony, doctor?
No, I don't believe so. I believe that I said it was a 6-month subscription or a 12-month subscription.
It was 18 months. 18 months. Like
in any event, you saw something. That's the first time that you recall seeing anything in the media about this case was in May of 2024?
It was the first time that
I'm embarrassed for him. Like, that's what you came up with. How long was your boss? You said the other day the subscription was for 18 months, not 12. And I think I said 12, but whatever. Even if I did, who gives a shit about any of that? Let's go to the next. He was rude to her so many times, like this time. Like, just so rude.
That indicates that forensic odontology is not is deemed not reliable when it comes to that particular narrow aspect of forensic odontology.
And so you're not familiar with it. Also talking about sample data and collection, analyses of these, interpretation and reporting of results. You're not familiar with those areas of the NS report as well?
But what specifically, do you have a specific question about that? Or
first question was whether or not you're familiar with the report. You indicated that you weren't.
I did not read the report.
Mr. Lally, let the witness answer one question at a time, one speaker at a time. Dr.
He was getting so frustrated, and she would try to answer and he would interrupt her. And it got to the point where, like, he just came across as so angry because she wasn't saying the things that he wanted her to say, and he was getting visibly mad. Again, the camera's not on him. I seen this guy. He was getting mad. Lally showed, and he's interrupting this nice old lady. Like, who does that? Who does that?
Can you answer that question?
Sure. I did not read that report.
Now, you had written some articles that you were asked about in reference to dog bites, canine dog bites in the emergency department. Is that correct?
Yes, co-authored.
Something that you published or authored or co-authored sometime in the late 1990s. Is that right?
Correct.
And in that instance, you talk about law enforcement dogs and a bite in a hole technique, correct?
Yes.
Now, part of the reason in writing that article had to do with sort of the applied forces and the unique spectrum of injuries from those kind of dog bites. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that spectrum of injuries would include deep puncture wounds. Is that right?
They can, yes.
Severe crush injuries. Is that right?
Correct.
Large tissue avulsions and lacerations. Is that right?
Yes.
Wounds necessitating surgical debridement. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bony injuries ranging from portable violations to displaced fractures. Is that right?
Yes.
Neurovascular damage. Is that right?
So she wrote an article about dog bites and the damage a dog bite could do. You see what he's getting at here? Well, none of that happened to John O'Keefe, so aren't you just full of shit, lady?
Yes.
And other wounds at high risk for infection, correct?
Correct. But we also put a disclaimer in that article.
I'm not asking you about any disclaimer.
Okay.
I'm asking you about that's what the type of injuries that you were looking at. Is that correct?
Yes, but we saw a skewed population.
Did you skew population in the study? Is that correct?
What we saw the worst of the worst.
Or no?
Yes.
Skew population in the study.
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
The population.
Did we skew them? Did we skew? No, we reported on all the ones that presented to the emergency room for care. However, a lot of dog bites don't present to the emergency room.
And so from the different cases that you report on within that article, are there any of those cases in which there is injuries to just one aspect of one part of the human body for the victims of dog attacks or dog bites in those cases?
There may have been. That's a summary of the 700 cases, more than 700 cases.
So he's like, so why didn't the dog bite the legs? That's what he's getting at here. You did all this research. Have you ever seen a dog bite where they only bite one thing? It's like, motherfucker, maybe you just bit them once. They tried like pulling the dog off after that. Like, what?
This.
So is it normal in any kind of animal attack for injuries to occur on just one side of one arm of the person that's being attacked, clawed, or bitten?
There are many people who are bitten or scratched.
I'm asking if it's normal, man. That's all.
Okay, so hold on.
I'm
Mr.
asking if it's
Jackson.
normal,
Mr.
man.
Lally,
I'm
ask
asking if it's normal. Like, look at that face. She's just like, dude, can I answer the question? And she, she's this nice old lady who's pleasant, and this guy's being a dick to her. Like, bro, he's such an asshole. He's such
a question, wait for the answer, and then start a next question. Do not interrupt the witness.
I apologize. I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm asking for an answer response to the question.
But
so ask a question and ask it in a manner that you get a responsive answer.
Dr. Russ, is it your testimony that it's normal in an animal attack for injuries to occur on just one side of one arm and nothing else, anywhere else on that person's body?
It can be, yes.
It can be. All that gotcha question for nothing. Yeah, it can be. Yeah, an expert says that's normal. Yeah. Okay. What about not seeing the body? He gets to this part. It's getting late. We got a late show tonight, but that's okay. We still got to get the cell phone.
Between Tuesday and today. Any of those things contain any forensic reports or phone examinations or anything else related to this case?
Could you repeat that? What kind of examination? Phone?
Any materials that you reviewed, whether it be prior, sometime between May 17th and Tuesday, or anything that you reviewed between Tuesday and today. Did any of those materials that you reviewed contain any sort of forensic reports or anything beyond the UC days?
Yes, I saw a photograph.
You saw photographs. And to that point, you never actually saw Mr. O'Keefe's body, correct? You saw photographs?
That's true.
And with respect to the UC Davis report, as far as
like, he's just like, oh, so you didn't actually see the body? So yeah, no, I just saw photographs. Yeah. So yeah, I know what dog bites look like from a photograph. Okay.
Canine DNA, are you aware that the results of that were that there was no canine DNA on Mr. O'Keefe, on swabbings that were sent to the UC Davis lab?
I'm going to allow it.
Yes, but there was clothing in between.
Okay, but the swab.
Are you aware that there was no canine DNA found by the UC Davis lab? They love on the things that were Proctor again, took a swab, wiped his ass with it, and put it in the mail and sent that swab to be DNA tested at UC Davis. The shirt wasn't sent to UC Davis. Proctor swabbed something and sent it to them and said, this is from the shirt. That's what Proctor has no credibility.
Came from the clothing with tears in the clothing in the same area as the injuries, correct?
Okay.
Do you know that or no?
I couldn't tell if they came from the wound or the clothing. I thought that they came from the clothing, but
you couldn't tell by reviewing the report whether or not the swabbings came from clothing or from Mr. O'Keefe's body.
I know the clothing was sent to the laboratory.
You know the clothing was sent.
It actually wasn't. It actually wasn't.
To the DNA laboratory.
To UC Davis?
Oh, I don't know that. No, I'm sorry.
All right.
You are aware that
I'm gonna go to Scrites, bites versus scratches, 359-30.
Correct.
Now, as far as the marks that you did observe that you do attribute to an animal attack, and you even say with certainty whether or not those marks you feel are bite marks versus scratch marks, do you have any idea which are which?
There may be a combination.
So that no?
Well, no, I think that the ones that had the linear abrasions above the small round punctate abrasions, I believe that those are bite marks from upper and lower teeth.
Ooh. Upper and lower. He just keeps trying to get her, and she's just like, no, I know which ones are. I have my theories about which ones are from teeth, which ones are, scratches. Whatever. I get it all. It's just not working out the way he thought it would. And then so he's like, well, why don't we take? Because she looked at the pictures. So Chloe bit this nice lesbian couple that was walking their dog, apparently, and there's pictures of it. And they looked at the picture of it and they determined that, so he asks about, does the picture of the lesbians bites look like John O'Keefe's? This is how Lally's going to try to get her.
Of that dog essentially getting in a fight with other dogs, correct?
Yes.
And at any point in time, did you see anything in there as far as a dog going after a human in which there was no other dog present?
No.
And there were actually photographs contained within that material of dog bites from that dog, from Chloe, correct?
Yes.
Did any of those dog bites that you saw in those photographs look anything like what you observed in the photos that you saw of Mr. O'Keefe's arm?
No, but. Okay.
Objection, Your Honor.
No, so the answer is no. You can get back up, Mr. Jackson. But
No,
the answer to
but.
that question is no. Next question.
No, but. So we're going to come back to that. So Lally tries to get him. No, but. No, they didn't look exactly the same, but. Okay.
Reviewing what you review, that what you observe on Mr. O'Keefe's arm is consistent with an animal attack to the exclusion of any other possibilities?
To a degree of reasonable medical certainty, yes.
So as far as any other sort of blunt impact injuries, or other manifestations of how those scratches got there, you're saying, nope, had to be an animal attack.
I've seen thousands of wounded.
What I'm asking is,
All right. So,
There
Mr.
it is
Lally,
again.
I'm going to let the witness answer.
I mean, look at 3 times there. He interrupts her and has to be told by the judge, quit interrupting her. Look at that face. She's sick of this motherfucker, this idiot, this loser who has the audacity to question her, like, and question her reliability and interrupt her. Well, AJ is going to explain the yeah, but part, the no, but part at 4:05:30.
In a dog attack on another dog attack where a human stuck a hand in the middle, look anything like these, correct? Remember that question?
I remember a question like
And
that.
you said no, but, and then you were cut off. Remember that?
Yes.
You finished that answer for us.
Yes. So animals and dogs in particular can inflict a wide variety of injuries on the skin.
Okay.
From just individual puncture
They
wounds
can look different.
to
They can look different.
abrasions where there's a scratching of the skin to where there's actually a pulling away pulling away of the skin from the underlying tissues, a ripping effect. And so there's a variety of wounds that or patterns that one can see from an animal attack. It depends a lot on the thickness of the skin, the movement of between the victim and the animal, and also the power of the animal and the training of the animal. Yes.
So
exactly. So it's just like, yeah, but the lesbians' bite marks look different from John's. Didn't they? Did they look the same? And she's like, no, but no, we don't want to hear but. But often bite marks look different. Like they are, like it depends on the training of the, like bite marks look different. So there's that. Okay. All right. Let's see.
In other words, not all wounds inflicted by a particular animal are going to look exactly the same.
Correct.
Exactly. Good job, Lally. Okay. Let's go on to cell phone Santa here. Starting at 5, 50, and 30. Let's get to the most important part about cell phone Santa. And because we're going to skip all the nerd shit and we're going to get right to the most important, his findings. What did you find out, cell phone Santa? The most polite witness
You have an
ever.
opinion as to the timing of that first search for Haslam to die in cold.
Yes, I do.
What is that opinion?
That would have happened at or before January 29, 2022 at 2:27:40 a.m. in the morning.
And what is the basis for your opinion?
Again, by how this particular phone operates with that exact operating system and comparing it to other data on that phone and the way it presented it out, it's all consistent with that search happening at or before that time.
And what opinions or conclusions did you reach regarding how, if any, how the 227 AM search was deleted?
Well, we
that makes
know
no
that's
sense.
in a deleted state. And importantly on that phone is I using the proverbial we, I found a lot of other that would have been used or deleted artifacts between midnight and the early mornings on January 29, 2022.
Okay. Are you aware of any internal mechanisms that could have caused that deletion?
No, not in this particular case. I know no mechanism that would have done that.
And you mentioned other deletions on the phone. I want to show you what has been marked, if I may approach.
Yeah. So yeah, there's been, like the search was there. That's all they need to hear. They don't need some British guy coming up here trying to sell Zap. He's like, yeah, it happened. 227 at best. They're not sure which expert to believe here at best. But that means there's reasonable doubt for Karen Reed.
MM for identification. Witness, if I could have first page of that exhibit displayed. This is,
This talks about deletions
with regard
here.
to that exhibit, Mr. Green, what did you find that was unusual, if anything?
Objection.
Sustained. Ask it differently, Mr. Unity.
Yes. What did you find of note?
Certainly. What was the time frame of the deleted records? Now, I'll just talk about this particular report here. It starts at 5:33:47 in the morning, and on the second page we see it ends at 8:50 and 15 seconds again a.m. And then the normal recalls, what we call live data, then begins at 8:59 and 34 seconds and goes.
So she deletes all of her calls and only her calls from 5:33 to 8:50 a.m. That's it. Just
on
those.
throughout the day with no additional
She said
deletions.
she said she didn't delete anything.
Right, those are all, that's call log, those are all phone calls.
Correct. Yeah, this is the call log.
And what was the difference between the calls that were at 8:59 and after on January 29th, 2022, and the calls that were before 8:50 a.m. on January 29th, 2022?
Yeah, well, it's the state they were found in. Deleted versus live data.
I'm sorry?
Deleted data at the earlier time and live data after the 8:59:34.
What percentage of phone calls were found deleted on Jennifer McCabe's phone prior to 8:50 a.m. on January 29th?
So all right, I have to see you. Take this down for a minute, please.
So what percentage of phone calls were deleted prior to that?
You see, counsel?
Okay, let's see. Fast forward. There's Paula Keefe looking like an idiot. Okay.
You are unmuted.
So, Mr. Green, I'm not sure if that question was clear, if you understood it. If it's not, please let me know. But I had asked you from the first recorded call there that was listed as deleted until 8:50 a.m. or so, what percentage of calls were deleted on Jen McCabe's phone within that time period?
Yeah, so we found no live data, so 100% of them would have been deleted.
100%.
Now, are you aware of the term spontaneous deletion?
No, sir. I know what the individual words mean, but in relation to digital forensics, I'm not familiar with that term.
No, sir.
And do you have an opinion as to how those calls would have been deleted from that phone?
Who was the one that said spontaneous deletion? Which was that one of the experts, or was that Jen McCabe that said that? I honestly forget. And then he's like, have you ever heard of spontaneous deletion? I've heard of those two words, but not together. I don't think things spontaneously delete.
Those would have been used or deleted.
Whiffen said, oh my God, he actually said that.
No further questions. Thank you.
I mean, he looks like an spontaneous deletion. Like, seriously, bro? Seriously? That guy's your expert? Spontaneous delete. Why? Because he has a charming English accent. He's from Yorkshire. You have to trust him. Yeah, sure. Okay, now we get to the cross. All right, 608 talks about the deleted GPS on Karen. Oh, this was underrated, this part. Listen to this shit that just kind of jumped in there. Talk about Karen's phone.
Location data, the location data cache is known to only be present on the phone for a couple weeks. Now, what I don't know, and Mr. Lally, if I'm going too far, just please stop me. What I don't know are what measures were taken to preserve that data, whether it was put in airplane mode, whether the location services were turned off, whether it was put in a Faraday bag. And quite frankly, Mr. Lally, I don't know if they did all that, if the location data would have remained or not. I've never tested that, but all indications it would have had location data on the day that it was seized, because we see the Apple map tile. But when I got the full extraction, there was no location data there. Now, I did observe.
So there was no GPS location data on the defendant's phone, correct?
Correct.
From what you observed.
And again, if I'm, I did find deleted location data from April of 2022.
Now, why was there deleted location information in April of 2022? Well, it couldn't have been Karen, because she didn't have her phone in April of 2022. The police did. So the police went in there and deleted her location data where she was. It wasn't the defense didn't get that out of him. Lally did. Oh my God. We wouldn't have known this if not for Lally. That is the most underrated thing that happened. They deleted Karen. They got the cops to delete her shit. Bro. Like, dude. Oh my God. Oh my God. All right. So next timestamp, Lally being a dick. Trying to say the search was at 6:23, and Rick Green doesn't take this lying down. So he's like, no, bitch. You don't know what you're talking about.
I'm made.
Why don't you move on, Mr. Mayor?
Is it possible that the URL field, which has the website name, was updated to the newest search while the timestamp retained the original search? Is that possible?
No, not the way on this particular phone, in this particular iOS, and also the way the user interacted with it, that it would have been at the 227 or before. The way this very specific iOS was happening, that is consistent with all the other ones that I observed out there on the phone related to specific web searches and activity.
Is it possible that the search for How Long to Die in the Cold at 6:24 a.m. was the most recent search completed in the tab?
Okay, well, not in that tab, but I certainly agree with you that there was a second search done at around that time.
Now, is it also possible that the search that you assert took place at 2:27 and 40 seconds in the morning is the same as the search that took place at 6:24, 51 a.m. for that same search?
Yeah, that's inconsistent with the actual data I'm seeing on this actual phone with this precise iOS version.
That was
He's like, nope. Nope. Now, this is my favorite part. The most charming thing he did is this part.
digest food.
Okay, I didn't hear your whole question, but I heard the last part about how long to digest food, so I can opine on that. So my feeling on that is when the how long did that go was put in, that was most likely a Apple suggestion. And I've done some testing now. The time period I'm doing my testing, is after the fact that this would have actually occurred. But as I tested that on a live phone and using a Google search, I could see that how long to digest food would come up. I also noticed the specific phrase, how long does it take to die from hypothermia? So as you do this Google search, you try to repeat what's being done. Those are two suggestions that actually came up.
And so that was something that was a suggestion and not something that was actually searched, correct?
Yeah, no, and I know that's different from my affidavit from about a year and a half ago, in all fairness, but
that's entirely different.
One person, Mr. Lally.
I'm sorry.
One person at a time.
Okay. So yeah, in fairness, I want to give you my best knowledge as I understand it sitting here today, including after my review of Mr. Whippen and Ms. Hyde's report. So I want to do everything I can to shine as much light and clarity on this as possible. So as I repeated, since that time and did the search, I would notice that is one of the things that would come up, and it would have a little picture of like a dinner plate or something like that. And there was actually a similar, if not the same picture found in the artifacts of that phone.
And so just to conclude, that's not what you said in your affidavit. That was actually filed under pains and penalties of perjury with this court, correct?
Yes, and on that day, that is what my true and proper belief was. Okay, since further testing, I have found that I now believe that was probably an automatic one. And if I've caused you any distress, I apologize.
Haven't caused me any distress.
Okay.
What I'm asking, sir, is that
If I've caused you any distress, I apologize. Is he not the most polite witness ever? Because, yeah, basically they're saying there, like, in his initial affidavit, he said that he Googled how long to digest food, that she Googled that. His opinion has evolved since then. He now believes, as I believe, because I've tested this out too, if you type in how long to die, DI, it auto suggests digest food. So he previously said that he thought that she wrote in how long to digest food. He now, after doing some testing, has changed his opinion and believes that auto comes up. It's really not freaking complicated at all. Like that. And he's just like, he goes, and I apologize for any distress. And Lally, instead of like, laughing about it, like, don't worry about it, we're good. Because that's what Alan Jackson does. And David Yannetti, when they get, they get caught being a little silly, they're like, oh, you'd think it's my first time, something like that. You make a little joke about it, but not Lally's like, he goes, what does he say? Listen to Lally.
That's what you.
Since further testing, I have found that I now believe that was probably an automatic one. And if I've caused you any distress, I apologize.
Haven't caused me any distress.
Okay.
What I'm asking, sir, is that
You haven't caused me any distress. You haven't caused me any distress. I'm not in distress. No, I'm not in distress at all. You look like you're in distress. Look at that face. You look a little distressed, dude. He's looking at him like, you sure I haven't caused you any distress? You seem a little on edge, dude. Why don't you just chill out a little bit, Chill out. Okay. Last couple of things here. The accuracy of the Apple Health recording steps, this part. And we're going to, I got to get to this part.
that's what you filed because that's what you steps doesn't necessarily mean that someone is physically taking steps, correct?
Again, the research that's done for this is steps tend to be a very accurate artifact.
So steps cannot also be coincided with, say, movement in a car or other sort of movement of the phone as far as the health data is concerned?
Sure. Well, I did, geez, quite some time ago, do.
So, this, again, they're trying to say, according to him, the Apple Health data shows John ascending and descending 3 flights of stairs between, I think it's 1222 and 1224. Garino says that he was half a mile away at 622, so he couldn't have been inside the house, right? And that the ascending and descending steps came from an incline. He knows the exact spot where he was at, so it's an incline or decline. So I looked at my Apple Health data from Thursday, and I looked at it the next day. Bro, it has every time I went up a flight of stairs at the exact time. And I'm going to do a little test on this. And I traveled up and down some hills. I drove around some hills. It never registers anything like that. We are going to test this out. in Canton this week. We're going to test this out at the exact spot where Guarino says that this allegedly happened. Because he's trying to be like, well, and you know what else we need to make a list of at the end of this? All the times the Commonwealth says technology doesn't work. That's another thing we have. All right. The accuracy of the
some testing with an actual iPhone 11, the same make and model, and took a drive and tried to see if it would register steps. It did not. I sat in a chair and tried to duplicate how I thought I would walk to see if it recorded steps. It did not. I took the phone from the floor to the ceiling to see if it would record a flight of stairs. It did not.
It did not.
The only with that iPhone 11, same make and model that I got, it was very consistent with me actually doing walking steps, and that was whether I had it in my shirt pocket, my pants pocket, or clipped onto my belt.
That's your testimony?
That is my testimony. Yes, sir.
Now, you familiar with GPS native locations?
That is my testimony, motherfucker. Yes, I did an actual test to see if it picks up, and I'm going to do a test too. As if a phone, like, why would it say steps? Why would it say flight of stairs if it doesn't know the difference between a flight of stairs and driving up a hill? Everybody could, like, people that, if anybody wanted to get their steps in, they could just cheat the system now. What? Oh my God. Like, you have to be kidding me. Yeah, Apple doesn't work now. Apple doesn't know that a step is a very specific thing. I assume it knows it because it's like, you know, one foot goes up and then very abruptly another one goes up, as opposed to just sitting there and your elevation changes. Like, what? This is what they're going with? Do they understand how they sound?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And GPS native locations
let's
takes
get to
its
the
data
Waze
as far
part.
as defining latitude and longitude from a number of different sources, correct? Or specifically pinpoint when
there was, yes, there was location data within that time period.
Okay. And are you aware that Mr. O'Keefe's phone from the GPS native location data was actually a half mile away from 34 Fairview Road at the time that it made those recordings in the GPS Apple Health data?
Right. Yes, I understand he was using Waze, and it had made that recording. I understand that. That's why the finding that 3 minute and 1 second offset brings into serious doubt if that time was accurate. And when you apply that to the location offset, then the Apple Health data and the GPS all aligns. Now, I have not decoded Waze and found out what functions they were calling and all that. And I don't mean to indicate that I have. I mean that the latest version of Axiom is bringing that up as an artifact and a timestamp related to Waze. And in the case of here, where minutes are important, I thought it proper that I bring this to the attention of the case as a possible explanation.
As a possible.
So how do you like that? There is an explanation for why your Waze would show something different from the Apple Health. There is an explanation, as it turns out. So there's that. And then finally, what about Ian Whiffen? You got anything to say about that little shit? I mean, he was polite to Ian. Ian Whiffen and Jessica High were rude when discussing him. They're like, we read it. That guy's know what he's talking about. He's like, no, they were decent people, but I think they got this part wrong. For instance,
Ian Whiffen.
Absolutely.
And with regards to this specific issue, as far as how this data is being interpreted from the browser state DB versus the knowledge C database and the wall file and all of those P list and all of those other kinds of things, as far as the misinterpretation of the data has then caused Mr. Whiffen in further versions of Cellbrite to revise that so that this kind of error can occur.
Sure, happy to answer that. So Mr. Whiffen's testing was not done with this specific version of the iOS.
Oh.
The iOS has been known to be changing the way this artifact works. To do proper analysis, the researcher that is, he would need to work with that same iOS. Now, in regards to the Cellbrite question, they have two versions of the Cellbrite Physical Analyzer. One is the standard physical analyzer that's been out for several years now, probably is majority use in the community. It's a tool that takes that raw data and it puts it into human terms that we can look at and understand and write reports like you've been seeing here. So they have the Cellbrite Physical Analyzer that's out there. I believe it's 7.68, but don't quote me on that. And then they have a new version that's come out called Insights, and this operates more on where you can put multiple cases in and that. It's only the Insight versions that they have bothered updating and no longer reporting on that time. Their current physical analyzer program, and I tested this a few days ago, still reports on that search occurring, and that timestamp. So currently Cellbrite is providing examiners, law enforcement, and people worldwide with two different versions giving two different results. That I can't speak to more than that, other than I've tested that, and I see how those programs are working now.
So my question, sir, yes or no, is are you aware that Cellbrite has had to modify their software based on misinterpretation of data, as you've done in this case?
Yes, with Azget, they updated one of two programs.
Nothing further.
He thought he got him there at the end, bro. Did you listen to anything I just said? So basically, there's a perfectly logical explanation, right? That Whiffen didn't use the right version of iOS. That's why he came to the conclusion that he did. So rookie. All right, cool. Be right back. Okay, I got to take a leak real quick. Then we got to just wrap this up. We're all done with all the things. Just got to make a couple announcements. Be right back. Hold on. All right, we're back. All right, finishing up here. All right. So let me just read some turtle chats. Okay. Terry sends $25 and says, so much love and respect for both you, Karen, and Lucky for not being silenced and standing up to the trash. Karma's coming. It may be slow, but wait for it. Very much, Terry. You're right about that. Janice sends $10 and says, you in this movement raised $50,000 for Karen, $28,000 today alone. The fake victim couldn't even raise $1,000 for her fake lawyer today. Keep doing what you're doing. Oh, did she start another fundraiser? It's just like, oh, God. Oh, I need money for my lawyer for this thing. Like, first of all, I would never talk to her, of course, because I respect orders. But, if if my friend was in a situation like that, and I believe that they were innocent, I would just give them money. So I guess my question is, didn't she bond with the O'Keefes and the McCabe's? Why aren't they just giving her money? She bonded with them, right? They had a bond. They bonded. So why haven't they come together and supported this? Oh, right, because she's no longer useful to them. She had one use, putting me in jail and keeping me from going to the, Karen Reed hearings. Well, Judge Pomerol, in his infinite wisdom, sided with us and amended the order so that I could go to this shit. And suddenly she has no use for them. Or they have no use for her, rather. They have no use for her. So that's weird. Now they don't support her. And, I wonder if they'll come to her next hearing. I wonder about that. If I were her, I'd just tell the truth. I'd be like, none of this should happen. And I want to move on with my life. That's what I would do in that situation. I would just move on with my life and stop obsessing over some guy that you had a 3-month not even 3 months, like a 2.5 month fling that was entirely sex fueled. Like, let's be honest, there was nothing serious that ever happened there. Like, no talks of getting married or moving. None of that shit happened. It was a good time, right? It was what it was. There was a fake pregnancy in there. That wasn't so good. But again, I would just move on with my life and stop obsessing and wanting to be near this guy that you're allegedly, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I would do, is just move on with my life. But some people just keep wanting to be near me. I don't get it. I don't get it. But anyway, anyway, so let's no, it was like not it would 3 months is generous. It was just like it lasted like I think first time ever was September 15th. And it was like right after court. I went there. Like, and then I went to the Star Drive-In to see my good friend Erica Madden. And then it ended. I think the last time is like I didn't go over on December 9th, and that's when all hell broke loose. But anyway, that's I'm gonna tell that whole story after the Kearney retrial is done. I will write about that after the whole Kearney. I haven't written about it yet, so we'll talk about that another time. Again, but that's wild. You know what I mean? It's like the breakup has lasted longer than the actual relationship, which wasn't really a relationship. Like we never had a meal of food together. What kind of? We never broke bread. Like for the first month, it was just, you know, come over for a few hours. That's it. And then that turned into, you know, sleep over. Okay. Like you want to go to this bar in Norwood and get drunk. Okay. That's what we did. But there was never like a meal of food where like both of us sit on opposite ends of a table and we talk about how our day went. That never happened. So like that doesn't count as a real relationship, right? I agree. Like that doesn't count. You have to have like a meal of food in there at some point. Like if you don't have a meal of food, then it's not, you know, and the guy's legally married and can't tell anyone about you. Like that doesn't count. Sorry, that doesn't count. Like that, it's a good time, right? But it doesn't count. It's not, even if there are feelings, it doesn't matter because they're not real, you know? But anyway, that's a different story. We'll deal with that later. Kimber sends $10 and says, having photographed hundreds of dog bites in my career, Dr. Russell was spot on in her testimony. These injuries came from a dog. Thank you, Kimber. Lori sends $10, says, who's excited for Crash Daddy on Monday? I know a lot of the ladies are. You guys are definitely into Crash Daddy. Anyway, Brian sends $50 and says, why isn't the defense calling Kevin Albert, the Google representative, or the Canton police officer who said that Higgins was in the Sally Port for a wildly long time? It's a good question. It's a good question. Is this a mistake or does it even matter? I just think it knows that, look, you're absolutely crushing it. Looking forward to your acquittal. I just think they know it's game over and they just don't care. I think that's why. Next up, Brian. No, Dean fucking Smith sends $10 and says, people hate us, but we have the busiest hospitals in the nation. Okay. Boston sends $25, says, yeah, Turtle Boy, we all love you. An amazing place for a victory party. The same place where the Free Kearney comedy show fundraiser was held near Marlborough, Mass. I just can't remember the place's name. Maybe I'll meet Brittany. Oh yeah. I have to make an announcement about the woman. I forgot. I have a couple announcements to make. I'll make later about a couple fundraisers. I got to get the words out of. I have so many things I have to remember. I always run out of time. Thank you. Sarah sends $15. Says, I think you should include professor in your list of prefixes with daddy and doctor. Ooh, I like that one too. Maybe I'll call myself that. Kim sends $10 and goes, why do you think John's family believes she did it when the evidence is clearly that she's innocent? Especially all the internet lawyers question the Commonwealth evidence and don't understand how it even got to trial. Because Kim, like, you want my honest opinion? Because they're fucking assholes. That's why. Because they're assholes. Because Paul O'Keefe is a fucking asshole. Like, that's the truth of it. You want to hear the truth? Oh, you know what they want me to say? Oh, they're just being tricked by the Commonwealth, or they've been lied to, and they're being deceived, and they're victims here too for being. No, they're just fucking assholes. Peggy O'Keefe and Paul O'Keefe, they're just assholes. That's it. Just because your son died doesn't mean that you're not an asshole. Okay. If Krusty Panty's kid died tomorrow, she'd still be an asshole. It'd be unfortunate. The kid died. Nobody should die. It's sad when people die, but it doesn't mean that the people that they leave behind are not assholes. It's just straight up. They're just assholes, man. Like, that's it. That's the answer. That's the answer. That's it. And all the people would be like, oh my God, you're going to clip that. He's such an asshole. I got bad news for you, Peggy. They don't give a shit about you either. They don't give a shit about John. They especially don't give a shit about you. They just like hiding behind you because you're a useful fucking idiot. That's it. That's all you're ever going to be to them. Anyway, Kelly sends $10, says, is there a GoFundMe for Lucky to help pay his medical bills since his wife passed? His wife passed a long time ago, and there is no GoFundMe as far as I know. So thank you. All right. Do we have any more turtle chats before we move on to get down there, doggy? Okay. Pat Sully sends $50 and goes, dinner for the fam. Well, thank you very much, Sully. Appreciate that. Latina Rodriguez sends $10 and says, the best is when McLaughlin tried to get the jury instructions that Kearney contacted the DUI lawyer, but they didn't realize Yannetti had Proctor calling 8 minutes before. They knew. Oh, did they not know that? These fucking scumbags. Wow. That's so true. Oh, thank you, Diane. Diane Charest. Me and Diane's brother, Steven, we go way back in the day. He was the class president, actually, and I was the class clown. So there's that. All right. Okay. Oh, is that Diane Charest? No. That's Steven's mother? Okay. Either way. All right. All right. Did we forget anyone? Lauren sends $5, says Proctor not only deleted texts, video footage, and the truth from witness statements. Most importantly, he deleted OJO's life. And within 17 hours, he deleted his human right of justice. Shame on you, sir. Also, protect Lucky. You're goddamn right about that. Okay. Any cash apps here I got to bang out? Renee sends $10 and says, what was the pervert comment about Allie dating old? She just thought he was fucking other chicks. So she's like, you're a fucking pervert, John. You're always trying to fuck other chicks. That's all that was. Thank you, Diane. Okay. Renee sends $50, says continued love and support. Well, thank you, Renee. Frank sends $5 and goes, I can't wait for Jenny to go to jail. Oh God, I dream about that. That'd be awesome. Kerry sends $25 and says Turtle Riders for Turtle Boy and Karen. Thank you, Kerry. And it is impressive how much we were able to raise for Karen that quickly. It is something, man. It just shows how kind of, it was easy too. It doesn't take a brain surgeon to do it. You just set up a little Venmo, pinwheel thing. Thank you very much. And shout out to Altman and Meredith, obviously, and Erica Walsh and the people that do shit like that. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Matt McCabe sends $5, says, please don't tell anyone about my small penis. Too late, Matt, but I think we all kind of assumed, you know what I mean? Carrie sends 25, says Turtle Riders for Turtle Boy and Karen. Thank you, Carrie. Kyle sends $5 and says, you're jacked and Lally isn't cucking loser. Okay. Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate that. Okay. All right, cool. Anybody else? Let me just refresh the turtle chats. I think we're all caught up here. Man, it's been a long show, but there's still over 7,000 you motherfuckers on here. It's great. Let me show you real quick. I love the Yannetti video. My daily interviews outside of court are I should have been doing this from the beginning. I always get one sound bite on the way in and one sound bite on the way out. And I love the sound bite that Yannetti gave me the other day. Oh, by the way, how funny was this one? How funny was this? This is the true crime and wine lady who begged for me to come on her show. She goes, why does Turtle Boy have a scratch across his cheek? Or maybe a bite? They're the same according to Free Karen Reed. So she thinks this thing on my face is a scratch. Oh, so let me show you a little trick here. So you see this thing right here? It's not a scratch, dear. It's actually a shadow. Okay. So watch this. See that? I can make it. Oh, then it just, now, it's gone. It's gone. Because guess what? There's a light right next to me. Oh, where'd that go? Oh, where'd it go? True crime and some wine. It just disappears. Oh, it's gone. It's just gone like that. You can't make this stuff up, dude. Like, this is literally the face of Karen Reed is guilty. Like, this is the intelligence level that these people have. They're that fucking stupid. They're that stupid. They deserve nothing but your ridicule, and you should laugh at them. Oh, here's me interviewing.
No.
See, the crowd always goes after AJ on the way out. I get AJ on the way in. And I get, and on the way out, I'll get Yannetti or Karen, because Karen, sometimes they don't, Karen, let's talk to Karen. Oh, let's talk to Rick Green or David Yannetti.
Oh, so they were smiling on the inside.
You're an expert. They're expert. What about your expert?
Mr. Green, how are you feeling? Oh, good. I apologize on behalf of the Commonwealth for the way Adam Wally treated you, but I think you handled it pretty well.
It was fine. It was fine. He has a job to do, and hopefully he appreciated some clarity I brought to everything.
Is that the first time you've ever apologized to a prosecutor for causing him distress?
That was a little bit of a new one for me, but he seemed upset. So
Yes. Well, I'm glad. Hope you made his Friday. Have a good weekend.
He's so nice. He's like, he's just trying to do his job.
And they never did. It took them a year and a half to even interview. And he should be the number one witness for, an honest prosecution. The prosecution should have been trying to find out, hey, who plowed the street on a night where there was an absolute blizzard? Somebody had to. And did they see a body in the lawn? Is our theory correct? Apparently they didn't care. We did. We got him within 2 weeks.
And did that come out after
You know
his
they say-
reporting? Is that how you
With his reporting?
No, we found him first. I think
Hit him 6 months before me.
Yeah, well, Aidan found him independently of us.
Yeah.
But we talked with him on February 15th of 2022.
Mr.
We
Gann,
knew early on. I knew right then that they were never going to be able to prove this case.
Mr. Gann, can you tell me how many witnesses do you have left, and can you name who they are?
Sure, we have 3 witnesses left. It's going to be Dr. Frank Sheridan, pathologist, and the 2 ARCA guys that you saw who were so impressive in court.
Okay,
during
so
that
you
blood
won't
year.
even bother with the people who were bitten by Chloe or any of those folks?
We don't have to go there.
Okay.
We don't
This
have to
jury
go there.
wants this case, and we want to give this jury this case.
You feel confident right now in a not guilty verdict?
We feel very confident.
We feel very confident. So there you go. You love this man's confidence that they have out there. Do I get any other good video? Oh, by the way, this account, this Don Chichio 74 account, this dude makes amazing court sketches, like very fast. So check that out. So here's me interviewing Karen.
I think it's going pretty well. You had a big smile on your face at your father. You guys feel better, relieved the end is coming?
Yeah, very
Excellent. Excellent.
Oh, here's Marie Russell.
So up next is Richard Green. Is that correct? Excellent. Dr. Russell, thank you for your testimony. I apologize on behalf of Adam Lally.
Now watch this. Look at this.
Somebody's being no honking.
This person
No
got pulled
honking in
over.
the free speech zone.
Dude, look at this.
Adam Lally.
Listen.
He
He got pulled
No
over
honking.
for honking.
No honking in the free speech zone. No honking in the zone, I guess.
Watch this.
All right.
Watch this. This person got
A
pulled
little
over.
too excited. Is honking speech? I don't know. I'm waiting to get in the car. Oh, there she goes.
Watch this.
No honking in the anti-free speech zone. Hey, much love. We love you.
Hi, turtle boy.
Karen, how do you feel the day is going so far?
Very well. What do you think?
I think
very well. What do you think? I mean, what a beautiful day. It's like what? Like so much happened in one video. Like it's like Karen. I talked to Karen. I talked to Marie Russell, and then a car gets pulled over for honking in the anti-free speech zone. I hope they didn't get a ticket for what? Honking? You can't honk. What? What? Do we have any other videos in here? The Microdots one, Mona Lisa Vito, that one. Okay. All right. I think we're about all caught up, man. We're good. We're good. All right. So, you guys have any questions or anything before we wrap it up? It's 12:34. It's been a long freaking show. Yeah, she looks great. I mean, what can you say? She looks happy. She looks confident. Is what she is, you know? They all look happy, you know? They all look happy. Is that a turtle rider? Everybody's a turtle rider. Come on. Everywhere I go is turtle riders. Everywhere I go. I love it, man. Oh, yeah. Somebody sent me a URL to show us. What's this? Oh, yeah. I'll show this to end it. So they paid to have this shown. So I'm going to pay this one.
A 3D illustration of Trooper Joe Paul's take on how the evidence shows Karen hit John O'Keefe.
Okay, let's see it.
This is Trooper Joe Paul. He is the expert witness for the prosecution, and with all of his data points, we're going to show you his point of view on how this happened. Starting from this viewpoint in real time, Karen backs up hitting John and continues all the way to the edge of the driveway. Trooper Paul's opinion is that John has been sideswiped by the SUV, pushing him to the ground, hitting his head on the concrete, and causing him to be knocked unconscious. The trooper does little to explain how John's body was actually found 10 feet in the yard with his phone under him, other than that to say it's just how it happened. Zooming out and starting at the beginning, I added these blue marks to indicate each half second according to the expert's testimony.
Oh, this is good shit.
One of the things to take notice with this new data is how far Karen drove in reverse.
Yeah, but the white Jeep was there.
Before Karen was reversing, she was driving away from John at 11 miles per hour, according to this expert.
Oh, wow.
So let's start at that point. John watches Karen drive away. He watches her come to a stop, pause for 2.5 seconds, and then start to reverse towards him.
Boom.
This moment of impact is going to create a lot of noise. Picture taking a bat and breaking out the rear taillight, or taking a glass and throwing it into the back of a vehicle, having it shatter.
What was that?
The amount of noise created by this would certainly be heard by those inside
Oh,
the
wow,
house, and throwing it into the back of a vehicle, having it shatter.
Wow.
The amount of noise created by this would certainly be heard by those inside the house. All this data is based on key cycles that Trooper Paul claims represents this point of time. But the defense believes he's wrong on that, and in this next video, I'm going to show you why. Now, a little quick self-promotion. I'm trying to create a deal with Netflix for a documentary. They've already used some of my work in their Murdoch series, and engagement is certainly a metric they consider. So if you like my work, it'll go a very long way if you guys like, share, and comment, not just on this video, but any of my videos. And once again, thank you guys for watching and for following me.
All right, Azget Industries, you are getting a subscriber here. Let's get her 5,000 subs. I'm gonna put a link to this. This is worthy of being shared 100%. I just put it in the comments. Boom. Give her a sub right now. Let's get her to 5,000 subs. Azget Netflix. Okay. Wow. That was an excellent video. Thoroughly. Again, I said at the beginning of the show, I am amazed by the Karen retrial and all of the new talent that this has brought to light. Like, the world wouldn't know about microdots were it not for the Karen retrial or Azget. I mean, I just found out about it tonight. That was excellent. That was excellent. There's been a lot of good stuff. Brian Hale photography, I mentioned before, you know, a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. All right. So anyway, did we get her to 5,000 already? Is she at 5,000? Did that just happen?
Hi guys.
Oh, she's at 506. Happened in 1 second. What the hell? That's crazy. That's crazy. Keep it up, girl. That's awesome work you did there. So she deserved it. She deserved it. Just that video. That's the kind of shit that impresses me. You see, you make videos like that, I'm subbing to you. Period. You earn that sub. All right, guys. Verdict. I think the verdict's coming Wednesday. I think it's coming Wednesday. I think we're gonna have closing arguments Tuesday, and I think we're gonna get a verdict nice early Wednesday. So again, I've decided. I think I'm gonna be in the courtroom for it, or outside with the peeps. I will be in the vicinity of the courtroom no matter what. I'm not renting out a place for the verdict day because we don't know when that we will be. But we will be looking for a venue on Friday night to celebrate this because that's what we need to have. That's what we got to have. So anyway, guys, I got to go to sleep. It's getting fucking late. I love you all, and we will talk soon. Peace, Turtle Riders.